What's going on, guys? I'm gonna just kind of chill out and relax, see if anyone can kind of come in. If not, I'll start my whole little spiel here, guys. Had a interesting day, guys. Didn't even plan to do a video today, but came back and noticed that we had a crap ton of moves. Some pretty impactful things have gone on here, and this is really interesting, guys. So I'm gonna chillax, see if I can't get any guys in here. I know it's Christmas Eve, so you guys see this later on. Hopefully, you guys have had a good Christmas Eve, and hopefully tomorrow you guys will have a Merry Christmas because it's gonna be crazy. What's up, Maniac Matt? Yeah, bro, that's what I'm talking about, man. A lot of crazy crap happened today, man. I had to come on after I saw it. I was like, okay, we're gonna have to talk about this. This is crazy. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it, Maniac Matt. Since you're here, we'll see if anyone else jumps in. If not, it'll be up for everyone to see it tomorrow or Thursday. So once again, guys, what's going on, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys, I'm jumping on here this evening. Number one, just to say, hope everyone's gonna have a really great holiday. Hope you guys got your Christmas shopping done. I stepped out today because I had to go get some stuff. I had to replenish some of my supplies for my eBay business I run. So I had to go and try to find some stuff myself here, guys. I came home, started messing around a little bit. I was looking up Eagles information, and man, there's a lot of stuff that happened. I mean, Eagles news happens quickly, man. You're taking a break now too, Maniac Matt. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I hate going out around Christmas, man, because it's just like people they're crazy, bro. They can't drive all of a sudden. It's nuts what goes on. So, you guys are getting this. What prompted everything is like starting last night, kind of news broke about, well, it wasn't last night, it was more yesterday. News broke about Jay Ajayi being released. We knew that the Ajayi move really had nothing to do per se with what was going on with the roster spot of Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is already on the active 53-man roster. He had never been moved to the PUP or the IR or anything like that. So that move did not impact anything. But we all kind of had a feeling like, okay, something else is going to be going on, because if we're moving Jay, if we're cutting Jay Ajayi, clearly there's going to be another move coming up. Well, there was a series of things that happened today. So in addition to waiving Jay Ajayi, the Eagles kind of expected, they placed Ronald Darby on injured reserve. I think we all kind of knew that was coming. I mean, that one to me was kind of a common sense one. They were going to move Ronald Darby to injured reserve. I mean, I said it in my video yesterday that it's just time to play some of these younger guys. I mean, Ronald Darby's had more than an adequate opportunity over the past few years to kind of take hold of being the future, left cornerback or right cornerback on the Eagles. He never did it. I mean, he never really took hold of. I think he was the right cornerback for us. He never took hold of that right cornerback position. And they placed him on IR today. He's done. They're moved. I would think that they're definitely moving on from him. Stephen Joyce, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Cowboys X Factor. Yeah, man. Jordan Howard's back, man. So pretty big news for the Eagles. We'll see, though, man. I'm not sleeping on this Giants game. I'm not sleeping on it at all. So Darby gets moved to IR, guys, and kind of a move that surprised me. I'll hit you guys up in the comments in a second just to see if it surprised you, but it surprised me, guys. I knew we were going to call a tight end up. I had a pretty good suspicion that a tight end was coming up because of the injury to Zach Ertz. Because of that injury, I thought no doubt they're going to bring somebody up. Now, they went back and they had re-signed Alex Ellis, a little while ago. So I thought, they're probably going to bring up Alex Ellis. I mean, it seemed like the coaching staff really liked that kid. It was really unfortunate what happened to him early in the season. So to me, it just felt like, okay, they're probably going to bring back Alex Ellis. Well, they dip back into the well again, go after a guy that they have coveted as their third tight end for a very long time and has just never really been healthy. And that's Richard Rodgers. Look, I'm not saying anything about Richard Rodgers in terms of the talent. The guy's very, very talented. He makes a very good third tight end, but man, that guy has not had luck with the Philadelphia Eagles. That dude has been injured every single year. Cowboys X Factor. I still can't believe Dallas Cowboys couldn't beat Desert Eagle 90 because he looks like Ronald Darby to me. Man, that's rough, bro. Lone Revolver, what's up, man? Maniac Matt, you think Ertz will be good to go if we make the playoffs? I think going to try to give it a run. Honestly, I think he's going to try to give it a run now, to be real with you. I think he's going to try to play. I think it's going to have a lot to do, and I haven't really looked up the news on Ertz yet, but I know they were really playing around with the positioning of whether or not the actual rib itself had pulled away from the muscle to tear it. That's going to have a large role in that because there's a lot of risk that can happen to internal organs. So obviously that can have an impact. Plus, there's further injury, without even the life-threatening crap of your organs, like just the fact that you can do a lot of damage if the rib is not, if there's no cartilage around it. You need some of that scarred cartilage to kind of form back, or you're in a lot of trouble. So I think it's going to really depend on that. He's going through the worst of it now, to be honest with you, Maniac Matt. I've never had like cracked ribs, but I've definitely been around people who've had it before, especially being in the service. I've seen a lot of people do a lot of stupid things that cause themselves injury. And what I remember more than anything was the fact that they had a lot of trouble breathing. Anytime they suffered like bruised ribs, cracked ribs, a broken rib, they had a hell of a time breathing because of that. So I think it's going to really depend upon how he's feeling because he's going through the worst of it right now. After that day really sets in, like he's gonna feel it now. So, has any of that damage, cartilage start to reform around again, the scar tissue start to reform around the rib, and a lot of it comes down to just pain tolerance. The dude's a tough guy, man, but we'll see. Cowboy X Factor. I hope Daniel Jones can pull off an upset with the odds being against him. I'm not sleeping on it. I thought it was kind of funny what some of the commentators were saying. Cowboy X Factor, they were just like, wouldn't it be the NFC East to have the Eagles lose to the Giants, everyone to get up in the air and thinking that the Dallas Cowboys are good to go and they're going to go into the playoffs and then they're going to turn around and drop that game to Washington. Me personally, I hope that doesn't happen because I'm an Eagles fan and you don't want to back into the playoffs. You want to go in there, confident and strong. The last thing you want to do is to back your way in there. It's not a good look and it's a hard way of getting yourself up for a home game even. Although I will tell you, Cowboy X Factor, I'm not going to sit here and tell people that I'm, over the top confident the Eagles are going to come out there and dominate the Giants. Like, I don't think Daniel Jones is going to get on a hot streak against us the way he did Washington, but they have talent there. I'm not going to deny the fact that they do have talent on that football team, especially from the offensive side. And their they had that weird defense that they run there to where they'll use Golden in very unique ways, and they're a little hard to match up with on that perspective against their defensive line. So hopefully we get Lane Johnson back because that would go a long way with helping us. If not, I mean, Big V did a good job, and if he's getting those starter reps in practice, I think he'll be okay. Maniac Matt, honestly, we need more focus and play this game than we did the last time we played the Giants. Don't look past this game because it screams upset to me. I think we'll be fine, though. Maniac Matt, I'm scared of this game too, man. I'm just scared that a young locker room, it can become too caught up in the situation and get a little too confident in the situation. That scares me as well. All I can say, though, is that Carson wants this bad. So I got to have faith that Carson will get these guys together because he wants this bad. He wants this bad. He wants to squash all this talk about Nick Foles. I think those guys love each other, man. There's no love lost between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, but man, Carson's a competitor. He wants to kill all this talk about Nick Foles. And believe me, it's already down to the really bottom tier. I mean, there's not a whole lot left for those people on that bandwagon to kind of jump onto, but I think he just wants to take away any discussion of that at all. Ertz probably going to tough it out. That's what I think too, Eagles clip. I think he's going to give it a try at least. I think they'll still probably dress him. Whether or not he plays or how much he plays, I think it's going to dictate about what's going on with the game. I think there's a reason why they're bringing up these guys like Richard Rodgers, though. I mean, bringing him back to the organization clearly says something. I think that if they can get by without using Ertz, they'd like to. But pretty tough situation, man. This is you got to win type game. You got to win. You don't want to sit there and depend upon the Cowboys losing. We want to win. Bruno, Ertz is an OG. He got this. Bro, that kid he's tough, man. He's tough as nails. He is absolutely tough. There was a weird debate. I don't know if any of y'all caught that weird debate that was happening about whether or not Ertz had toughness or not. Like, I don't get people sometimes, man. People just make crap up in their head sometimes. Like, Anyone goes back out there if they're cracking a rib and catches 4 passes and play, like, come on, bro. His his toughness ain't that's not the issue. Eagles clip. Ertz, I would argue one of the best or the best right now. So help help he okay. Yeah, hope he's okay. I get what you're saying. Great name, Eagles clips. I agree. That is a good one. So Eagles clips. I think that there's a three-way race when we come to like who's the best tight end in the league. I mean, it's between Kittle, Kelsey, and Ertz. I mean, those three guys are the three guys you generally look to say where they are. Then I think you got some guys like Austin Hooper, who's kind of in that conversation. And look, man, Dallas Goedert is now in the top 10 for receptions among tight ends. So we got an embarrassment of riches at the tight end position. But I will say this. I love Dallas Goedert. I love what Dallas Goedert brings to the offense, but I'm going to tell you they're different types of tight ends. There's some similarity to their game, but these are not the exact same type of tight ends. So it's going to be interesting to see that. I do think that if Richard Rodgers is healthy, he clearly knows the offense. He's been around here long enough. My only concern with bringing back a guy like Richard Rodgers is how much time is he going to take away from guys who've already been on the roster? That's what my problem is because I don't know the type of chemistry he may have built, or I should say the lack of chemistry that he may have with Carson Wentz. And that's a big thing, man. Carson's got to know that you're going to be there. The timing that you run your routes compared to the timing he wants to get rid of the ball, that all has to be on key. So signing Richard Rodgers can be one of these huge, big ordeals. It's a good thing or it can be a bad thing. It's hard to say sometimes with this stuff, guys. But I know the Eagles like this guy a lot, Richard Rodgers. They like him a lot. I keep calling him Richard Rodgers, and I think he goes by Richard Rodgers, but I don't know. Richard Rodgers, Richard Rodgers. He's been around for a while. Lone Revolver. Ertz is probably going to get limit snaps if he does play. I would think so as well. The only time you really want to expose him to like serious injuries if you got to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if there's nothing else we can do, then you kind of have to do it, right? You got to do it then. Like, season's the season, bro. You got to win this. Tito, what's up, bro? Do you think we need a new quarterback coach? 100% we need a new quarterback coach. I think Carson has played great, but I feel like there's still so much potential in him that hasn't been developed properly. 100%, sir. The way I see it is this. Carson is playing at a ridiculously high level right now. I think there's only a couple of guys in this league that I trust with the talent. If they had to go out there with the talent that Carson Wentz has right now, who could win football games. Pat Mahomes probably could still win a football game with this level of talent around him, right? Lamar Jackson, because of not because of his quarterback play, but just his overall athleticism and how he challenges the defense. He can take lesser tier guys and make them get open. You know what I mean? Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson's he's a ridiculously good football player. Takes a lot of chances, though, to be honest. I think those three guys, along with Carson Wentz, are the only guys I feel very comfortable with in terms of like this younger tier quarterbacks are going to take over the league. Those are the only guys I think who could play with the level or the lack of talent that Carson's playing with and be successful. I mean, what Carson has done this year, it's amazing, man. It's crazy. And I think you're right, Tito, that when I break down film of Carson Wentz, I do see issues with his footwork. And just think about that. If he can play at this level with this lack of talent around him in certain, areas, have some issues with his footwork and some of his basic mechanics at times can be off, and he's still playing this good, man, what is this kid going to be like when it all comes together? You know what? As time goes by, we're not going to have to worry about things like his footwork and his mechanics. Like, that's all going to, it's going to iron itself out. I do agree, though, we need a better quarterback coach to do that. We need a much better quarterback coach right now. Press Taylor's not getting the job done. I would definitely do away with him. Donald Bynum, what's up, man? How you doing? Maniac Matt, for Ertz, he would either be able to go 100% or not at all. I won't have any middle ground with them because it's just too risky. I think the only time you expose him to anything like that is if the season, like if the season's going to end anyways, unless you have an Ertz on the field. I don't think it should come to that. I mean, I do trust that what we have on the roster, and no disrespect to the Giants, because the Giants do have a lot of offensive talent. But I do think we have enough around Wentz that where Wentz can beat the Giants. My main concern is how healthy will Ertz be for that Seattle game. And I'm anticipating it's probably going to be Seattle that we're playing, guys, if you didn't catch on to that. Look, they might go in there and beat San Francisco, but I doubt it. Bruno, do you think Groh and Schwartz have done enough to keep their jobs, or do they have to reach the playoffs to see? I think Groh needs to do more than just reach the playoffs, in my opinion. I think Groh needs a deep run, and I still think it's iffy. I will tell you this: should should they be fired? Sure. Me knowing the Eagles organization and being a fan of this organization since the '80s and watching it, man, if they make a deep enough run, they're not going anywhere. I'll be honest with you, it's really difficult to fire defensive coordinators, Bruno. It's incredibly difficult. You have to do so much that when you fire defensive coordinators, where offensive coordinators, you're looking for those young, talented guys. Defensive coordinators is the exact opposite. You want long, established, older guys. Like it's hard to got, to be honest with you. Schwartz has got flaws, no doubt about it. Bro. Scheme with the sticks defense at times makes me want to throw stuff on my TV. But I'll say this: unless you're going to get me Ron Rivera, which I doubt he's going to take a defensive coordinating job, pretty sure that guy's going to end up a head coach or something of that caliber. It's got to be an upgrade. You know what I mean? We got to move forward. My philosophy is I don't care if it's a head coach. If there's a coach out there that is better than Doug Peterson and is available, you're always making moves to be better. That's the way I approach things. So if you find something for Schwartz, sure. It's unlikely though. I think Groh is he's the much more likely candidate to be let go compared to Schwartz. It's not that I don't think Schwartz at times hasn't earned his, walking papers, but I'm just being realistic to how, the league works with defensive coordinators and the way this Eagles organization works. The other thing you got to consider, guys, is people scream for like Rex Ryan. That's a completely different system that would be brought in. You got to have players that match the system. Like you're talking about doing a massive rebuild if you do that. The other issue with that is do you honestly think Rex Ryan's going to accept some of the talent that Howie Roseman has handed down to Jim Schwartz? No. And he's not quiet either. Like he's going to get up there and he's never going to take the blame for a lack of talent. He's going to throw Howie underneath the bus firmly, holding down with his foot under the bus. That's how Rick says. I like Rex, but that's just the truth. Lone Revolver, which team would you prefer for the wild card round if the Eagles make it there? Prefer? Or who do I think is going to be there? I think it's going to be Seattle. And to be honest with you, minus Chris Carson, I'll take Seattle. Not that Russell Wilson can't make plays. To be real with you, there's not a whole lot I fear. I don't fear really anybody from the NFC. Don't get me wrong. The 49ers, I think their talent levels is completely overrated, but I think their coaching is underrated. I think Shanahan is a ridiculously good coach. But you know what? Peterson's been there. He's done it. He's won Super Bowls as the head coach. Like, I'd take Peterson there. But I'll be honest with you. There's no one in that. Like, Breeze and the Saints, if they get hot enough, if they get hot at the right time, that could be a major headache. But Minnesota, no, I'm not scared of playing them. Seattle, no, I'm not scared of playing them. The 49ers, I'm not scared to play them. Green Bay, we've already beaten in Lambeau on a short week. I mean, Green Bay would be the team I would watch out for because that's the team that would want revenge. If that makes sense. They would probably come for us harder than anyone else. Donald, as the weeks go on, we will improve. I hope so, brother. I hope so. I hope we get a good view of some of the younger players on the roster as well, man. Eagles Clip, you think Deontay Burnett will be good? I was getting to that Eagles Clip. It is one of the topics I got coming up, man. So since you gave me a segue there, I'll go ahead and jump right into that, man. So the Eagles promoted Deontay Burnett from the practice squad to the active roster, guys. This guy is a very small shifty. Now, I say small. He's still almost 6 foot tall, but he's light, guys. I mean, they list him at about 185, 186 pounds. When I read some of the Jet sources, they had him at 170 pounds. The guy's rail thin. With that said, he's a scrappy dude. He'll fight. Deontay Burnett he's not physically gifted or tough, but mentally he is. He'll stand in there and he'll block. He'll go and try to fight for yardage. Those things are true about him. With that said, he's more of a slot guy. Most of his work came in the slot, and it is kind of concerning to me that, he ended up getting hurt and ran a really bad, like he couldn't do much at the combine. He was originally projected to be like a 5th or 6th round draft pick. Because of his injuries and because of the really shitty pro day he had, he went undrafted and he got signed by the Titans. Now, this is what I'll say. While he was signed by the Titans, guys, he led the Titans in reception that preseason and still got cut. So he has produced where he's been. But then he gets picked up by the Jets. Of course, they wanted him because Sam Darnold and Deontay Burnett had played together at USC. And it is concerning to me that they played together, but yet they still decided to let him go. Does that you guys get what I'm saying there? Like there is some concern there, but there's also this positive side to Deontay Burnett, which is the fact that this guy was a blue shirt. A blue shirt means when you're given a scholarship, but you don't count against, you can't play, and you don't count against the scholarship until the following year. So he's kind of overcome a lot, being a blue shirt at USC, right? Developing and becoming a really reliable slot receiver for Sam Darnold at USC, going through an injury and having a horrible because of an injury, like a 4.7 40, and he was injured, guys. He only had like a 30 and a half vertical. His broad jump, I want to say, was only like 121 inches. Like he didn't test very well, but it was mostly due to injury. Now, everyone I'm reading from the scouts and things like that are saying that he's not fast, but he's very quick, which to me in football, I'll take quick over fast. Most of football is played in very tight, confound spaces. So you want someone who can come in and out of breaks fast. Not necessarily, there's only a few people who can get over the top of you and beat you like that. I mean, that's like your Deshaun Jacksons. That's a very rare type talent. So I normally, in most situations, I would take quickness over just vertical speed, unless you got a guy like Deshaun Jackson that's just ridiculous athlete. So Burnett, I don't know how he fits the offense, guys. That's my concern here is that you already have a Greg Ward Jr. So are they envision Burnett to be a guy that they can play on the outside, the inside? Are they going to use double slots, double slot receiver? I just, is he just an insurance policy and for Greg Ward Jr. in case Greg Ward Jr. were to go down, in case, or, not even something as bad as that. Just, I guess maybe if Greg Ward Jr. just needs a break, right? A rest or two, maybe. Because Greg Ward Jr. has been playing a lot of snaps, guys. So I don't know if that's the role for him, but he's been called up to the active roster. And I got to tell you, there's been film on this kid. The NFL scouting department here in the Philadelphia Eagles, who I will give credit, our college scouting department, I have not a lot of faith in them. But the professional scouting department for the Eagles has been pretty good. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to think about that one. I'm more excited about Rob Davis and getting Rob Davis more rest than I am Deontay Burnett personally, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully JJ's foot feels better too and he gets that kind of healed up because JJ really played really well the first drive of the game, and then the foot started acting up. He missed the majority of the game, came back late in the game, and just didn't have an impact past that first drive. So there was clearly a concerted effort to get JJ involved early, then he got injured. So I'm more, I would like to see more out of JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and I'd like to see more out of Rob Davis than me worrying too much about Deontay Burnett personally. They did so the subsequent move that happened. So we moved Deontay Burnett from the practice squad up to the active roster. And there's some other things that bothered me about that move, guys. They just signed this guy like December, a few days ago, really. And they already brought him up to the active roster, and he's leapfrogged other players on the roster. He leapfrogged Green on the practice squad, and he leapfrogged Marquand McKell on the practice squad. So the coaching staff there must be some level of comfort with him there. I don't see it from my side, but I don't know the kid that well, to be honest. I don't know him that well, but that part does strike me as being a little odd, guys. The way that he just kind of moved, he just leapfrogged Green, and he leapfrogged Marquand McKell. So I don't know what happened there, guys. Tito, I think Schwartz has proven to be a good defensive coordinator, just needs to fire defensive back coach. Corey Underland's got to go, I agree. Quarterback play, is horrible, with horrible technique. Yes. There's a lot of concerns with the techniques that some of these cornerbacks take in terms of the angles they try to tackle at. Just basic stuff like they can't track the ball when it's in the air. That's a bit of a concern. It is a little weird to me because Ronald Darby was such a promising kid when he came out of Buffalo, guys. When we made that move to go get him from Buffalo, like he was a very promising cornerback. It's kind of a shame the way it's worked out, but I think Tito, in my opinion, I think you got to move on from Ronald Darby. It's always going to be one of those things where what could have been, but look, man, between injury, between the lack of development, some of it's on us, some of it's on Darby. It just didn't work out. Donald, I think JJ is coming on, getting comfortable and confident. I liked what I saw to JJ that first drive of the game, guys. I thought J.J. Arcega-Whiteside looked really good the first drive of the game. Like I said, unfortunately, he had a foot injury. I'm hoping J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can get that foot right because I think he's the guy that we really do need to see more out of because we got a real peculiar situation with Alshon on our hands, guys. On one hand, if we let him go, we're actually costing ourselves like $10 million extra. He's already getting paid a lot of money, so letting him go is an extra $10 million against the cap. So that sucks. So depending on the extent of this injury, the guy could be on injury reserve for the majority of next season anyways. Do they put him on the pup list? Do they put him on injury reserve? I mean, there's so much there. We need to see J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, guys. We do need to see progression from him, and we need to get a feel for if this kid's going to be something in the league or not. That's what I'm saying. We need to see these young kids in action. I would let the young kids define the fate of the season. Whether we make it to the playoffs, how far we get in the playoffs, let the young kids on the roster decide it. So that way we have a chance to actually evaluate the talent on the roster. That would be my opinion of the situation. Roadrunner, what's up, man? How you doing, buddy? Wentz is about to really catch fire. Roadrunner, I hope so, man. I hope so. He's looked good. Man. I got to give him credit, man. Like, his mechanics have improved a little bit. I'm going to knock him for one thing, guys. There's one play that bothers me from last week. And this is nitpicking, guys. This is straight up nitpicking. You can see that the coaching staff, when all the fan base got on the coach's asses for why Wentz is being so lackadaisical in the pocket with not keeping two hands on the football, especially when you have to let plays develop downfield. And you know there's a high probability of people getting at your arms because of that. You got to have two hands on the football. And he did. Did you see the play he got stripped on? He did have two hands on the football. But if you guys remember when I went over that quarterback mechanics video with you guys and I taught you guys what I learned from when I was going through quarterback camps, what did I tell you? When you go from the ball carriage to the ball shelf, right? It's supposed to be one motion that goes from the ball carriage to the ball shelf, and there's no downward motion. If you go down with a football, you're making yourself susceptible to the swipe. What do you think Wentz did there, guys? He went down with the football and he got it swiped. And it was a very subtle move. It wasn't like a drastic downward move. These defenders know what they're doing at this level, guys. They're smart. They know what they're doing. That's how good Wentz is playing, guys, that we have to go to this extent to nitpick him. Like, I don't know what the hell Max Kellerman's talking about, guys. I'm done with that dude, man. That dude his analysis is just trash. Like, he's lost all analytics to me, like the way that his evaluations, like he has no capital built up with me at all. I don't trust anything the kid says anymore. I don't believe anything he says anymore. I think he's crap. Max Kellerman. Jack, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? I'm most worried about Saints. I think we can beat them, although, especially if Djax comes back, in the divisional round. The Saints are the team I think too that if they catch fire at the right time, that's the team I worry about. The other team I would worry about is Green Bay because, look, man, we beat Green Bay shorthanded on a short week in Lambeau. I got a feeling they might be pissed off with us. That'd be the team for me that I would be concerned about as well, in addition to New Orleans. But the NFC West, I'm not as concerned about. I mean, they got a very good defensive team in San Francisco at times. They have gotten gashed a few times, though. And they have a very unique coach in Shanahan there. But I still feel like they're completely beatable. Angel, what's up, buddy? Do you think Ward, JJ, and Davis give us enough firepower to make it to the second round of the playoffs? Largely due to so this is what I'll say, Angel. Largely due to the fact that they're bringing back beast mode. Seattle is. They're so hard pressed that they're bringing back a guy that should not be on an NFL roster. And they're doing it because they need someone who understands the system there, right? Someone that's been ingrained in their system before and can step right into play. To me, that's an alarming thing to do. Hello, Ajayi coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basically a similar move. I don't think beast mode has a lot left in the tank. Now, can he go get you a 1 or 2 yards? Sure. He's going to be a hell of a matchup on like a 3rd and short. Absolutely. But he's not the game-breaking player that he once was. So, obviously, like they're themselves there. The injuries are definitely catching up to Seattle themselves. So, if we get Seattle in the first round, I think we have I think we got a decent shot of getting to the second round. I'm not going to guarantee it. We got a shot there. Eagles clip. You think walk it to him, Wentz I like that, man. Is becoming his 2017 MVP self again. I think he's playing with confidence. I think he's got a lot of confidence right now. And confidence is a dangerous thing, man. You get enough confidence, you start playing above what you can do. And this is what I'll say. Guys, we gotta say things in whispers. Whispers. We don't want to be out there beating our chest. You guys saw what happened to Dallas. Man, I had so many fans when I did that live stream last week. It was the first live stream I did where I did the Dallas hate week thing. And man, I had a couple in there that were at first they were a little aggressive. Then when they kind of got, the feel for me, they backed down, they were respectful, they were talking legitimate football. But then I had the one young, I could tell he was a young kid. I had one young kid. I don't know if you guys remember that. They kept trying to come for me and like I had to shut him down. And I even told that young man, you might want to wait on your shit talking until you see the result of the game. Because I'm just saying, it'd be really bad for you if Dallas does what Dallas does every December and falls on its face. Just saying. Exactly what happened. So, Wentz, 2017, hard comparison. He's a different quarterback from what he was in 2017. I think he's doing a more impressive job right now, to be honest with the Eagles clip. He's playing with no one around him, man. I mean, you could say Ertz and Goddard. Like, I get that Sanders is a good piece, but there's no outside presence there. I mean, Rob Davis he's a piece that's fascinating. Don't get me wrong, but those guys aren't Deshaun Jackson. They're not Alshon Jeffrey. I will say Greg Ward Jr. has probably been a surprise, and in many ways, he's not as athletic and he's not as gifted, as Nelson Aguilar, but he's playing a hell of a lot better. He's way more dependable. So that's the only one where I can legitimately say, like, okay, you probably upgraded by downgrading, if that makes sense. Donnie Beck. Since Ronald Darby is on IR for the Giants game, I think we will be far better off with that. Donnie, what I'm excited about seeing that, sir, is the fact that we're going to have to probably play young players there. Rasul, right? Sydney. We need to see these young guys. We need to see these young guys play. We have a lot of difficult decisions to make. Rasul's on the chopping block for this upcoming offseason. Like, we need to see him. We need to have a chance to evaluate these guys. And you know what? These guys who were in the system from 2017, minus a few guys like Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox, Malcolm. I'm not coming at those guys, but some of the other guys who played the roles in 2017 have been some of the problems we've experienced here in 2019. So, you know what? This turnaround this season isn't largely based on them anyways. It's based on these young guys coming up. So my theory is play the hot hand. They have the hot hand right now. Play the young kids. Play the hot hand. That would be what I would do, Donnie. Charles Smith, what's up, buddy? That was Peter's fault on that fumble. I didn't see this is what I'll say. I didn't see the protection, but I thought he came from the right side, not the left side, sir. Pretty sure he came around from the right side, didn't he? And I can't put that on the offensive lineman when Wentz is clearly he's doing something you're not supposed to do in the pocket, which you're not supposed to go down with the football. Look, it's a nitpick, man. Wentz is playing at a very high level. It's a nitpick, man. The point of that conversation, Charles, was to point out that as good as Wentz is playing, there's still fundamental things that he's got to, work through and he's got to learn, and we need a decent quarterback coach to do that. So if he's already playing this well with already having issues with fundamentals, imagine what this kid's going to be when he gets a legitimate quarterback coach who can push him in the correct ways and cleans up some of the little sloppy things we see in the pocket. If this guy's playing this well right now, this kid is beyond an elite talent to me. I'm not calling him an elite level quarterback, guys. I'm saying an elite level talent. This guy is ridiculously talented. Some of the throws that he makes on a weekly basis, like, I've been around football my entire life. I've never seen someone be able to do some of the things that this guy does. It's extraordinary. Corey Littles, what's up, buddy? We need to use Dallas Goedert more, and Carson definitely needs to use his legs more. I agree there. Carson rolling the pocket, he's a pretty dangerous quarterback there, man. It's an understated part of his game that probably definitely for this playoff run needs to be utilized, because Carson is going to absolutely be – he's the leader of this team now. Like, there's no doubt about it. These young kids are looking to Carson for guidance, for leadership. He's the dude. He's got to be the guy that makes the plays. I'm with you, Corey. Get him outside and let him make plays. Eagles clip. Do you think we are more of a playoff team than a regular season team? Ooh, that's a good question, man. I think we play better when we have to. I think when the chips are down and we need a win, we seem to respond. I mean, under Doug Peterson, we seem to respond. There's something weird about the Eagles and the way that we play football when we're favored or when we're, when we are basically being hunted instead of being the hunter. We don't play quite as well. But it's hard to say. Eagles clip. The one thing I'll say is you can have the hunter mentality even if you are being the hunted, if you build your roster the right way, right? Think about it this season. What legitimate excuse can we give for not having Boston Scott and Greg Ward Jr. on the active roster since week 1? Makes no sense, right? They absolutely outplayed the other players that were on the roster ahead of them. It was ridiculous. They should have been here from the beginning. That gives you an element of being hungry. That gives you that fight. It gives you all those things, right? The things that make you, while you're being the hunted, you're also hunting. You got guys that are hunting. Like, to me, it's not that I don't think guys necessarily gave up on Wentz. I don't think that's what went on. I just think guys get fat. Their bellies are full, man. They've eaten. They lost some of that fire, man, some of that hunger. These young dudes, they got it, man. They're not better players. They're not more talented players than the guys they're filling in for. They just want it more. There's something to be said about that. A team that wants it can knock off teams that are more talented, and you know what? They're not going to go all the way to 10. They're going to stop at about 9.5, 9.6. Not going to go all the way to 10. Let's see what we got, man. Sorry, guys. Eagles clip. Erickson Rivera. I want AB too, but he'd blow our locker room to smithereens. Erickson, that's a tough one, man, because he still hasn't even been reinstated. The guy's the dude's talent level can't be denied. I think some of the things about his personal character have been blown out of proportion. But yeah, he's a difficult dude to deal with. I mean, look at Zach Brown. Zach Brown was a talented guy. He's stuck on the roster for a certain amount of weeks, and the dude was completely difficult to get along with. There's a reason why they let him walk. And the crazy thing is that Jim Schwartz wanted Zach Brown, who was a decent run defender, but he just wasn't a 3-down linebacker. Charles Smith, I understand, but the defensive end had Peters beat just as Wentz finished his drop. Charles, I'd have to look at that again, man. As I remember, the pressure came from the right, not the left. So Peters may have been beat on that play, but it wasn't his defender that got to the ball. I mean, I'll look at it again and just check it, but I'm pretty sure it was the right tackle that got beat on the strip, not the left tackle. But to be honest with you, Charles, sometimes it kind of goes, you know what I'm saying, like plays melt together throughout the week. You know what I mean? It's hard to keep up with that stuff. Aunt Rizzo, what's your thoughts on free agency? Aunt Rizzo, I think it's going to be difficult because there's a lot of moving pieces. So I think we have to, either through free agency or through the draft, we have to address corner. We need talent upgrades at linebacker. We need wide receiver or two. We need to re-sign Jordan Howard. I hope the Eagles come up with a way of re-signing him. I think this injury and the stretch of time that Jordan Howard missed helps the Eagles because his market went down. Had that guy kept playing at the level he was playing at and finished out the season, it'd have been really difficult to sign him with Miles Sanders already in the fold. But maybe now we can find a way of bringing him back for a couple more years, I would definitely focus on Jordan Howard. I think we need to figure out something along the offensive line. I think Suamalu is more of a center than he is a guard. I would either try to find Jason Kelsey's replacement in the near future at center, or I would go for a left guard personally. I would do something along that line there. See what else, guys? I think we're set at running back. We'll have to make a decision at quarterback between Sudfeld and maybe bring in another veteran. We're going to have to make a decision there. Now, let's see. Defensive line is kind of interesting to see what we're going to do there. We got Vinny Curry, who's kind of second on the team in sacks. He's an older guy. He's only signed for the season, I believe. Then you got a bunch of young guys. I mean, what faith does the organization have in Derek Barnett to take over and be the guy? That's going to be important, right? What do we do with Derek Barnett? How do we feel about Josh Sweat? I think Josh Sweat has played pretty good this year, but do we feel comfortable with making him that guy that's that third pass rusher who might potentially be the second pass rusher, depending on what happens with Brandon Graham in the next year or two? I think we do need some solutions at defensive end. I don't think we're done there. I like Avery, but Avery's more of just a pass rush specialist. I don't think that's a 3-down defensive end. He's not. He's more of a pass rush guy. I think that we're pretty healthy at defensive tackle, to be honest. I think once we get back some guys next year, we're going to have a very talented defensive line. I think Malik Jackson will add to our pass rush. I think that's part of the reason why we suffered a little bit. I do think that we probably will lose Tim Jernigan. I think he's gone. Hassan Ridgeway, he's going to be a nice piece coming back, man. And the Eagles really like Anthony Rush. So Hassan Ridgeway, Anthony Rush, Malik Jackson, Fletcher Cox. I mean, defensive tackle's in pretty good position, man. Let's see. Linebacker we covered, man. We got to add something to linebacker. We need something to happen at safety, man. We're getting really, really old at the safety position. That's concerning to me. And we got to figure something out because Malcolm Jenkins he's more than just a football player to the Eagles, man. Like, it's hard to fill that role. We went through that with Brian Dawkins, and I'm not comparing Malcolm to Brian. Those are two different type of players, although they play similar positions. Obviously, Malcolm plays a little more of the strong. Brian played a little more of the free, but they're pretty much both, they were both where they'll play the line. Brian played up in the line. Brian played deep in coverage. They both will do the same thing. So, to me, we need, definitely need something at safety. We need corners. We need a linebacker. We need a lot on defense. And then on the offensive side of the ball, we need some solutions at left guard or center. And then we need a solution at wide receiver. We're going to need a player or two. So, that would be the way I would look for things. Who's available, how you can upgrade, what you can get with those 10 picks you have in the draft. It's going to be a little bit of a balancing act there. Charles Smith. Also, I believe Doug needs to allow Carson free range until he sees it's not going well. Quicker tempo is something Carson loves, so allow the Bronco to buck. Quicker tempo has worked very well for Carson. I think it was a smart decision by Doug Peterson to devolve some of the decision-making back to Carson Wentz. So Carson did get green lights. He got green lit to actually adjust and make plays at the line, call plays himself. That's a big thing. He doesn't have complete free range the way that Peyton Manning had, but they're devolving some of the power back to him, allowing him to do that in his quicker tempo offense. And that's a good thing, man. Like, I think that has worked because, number one, I think the kids are buying into him and he's clearly the leader. And number two, like, he's getting a better feel playing quarterback for what the defense is doing. So if you add that with the eyes being able to see everything above what's going on, getting an aerial view of the defense alignments and what's happening, along with the experience and the expertise coming from your OC and your head coach. And I know I just referred to Grow as a expert, but the position, not the person, the position. You know what I'm saying? Like, it puts all those things into play. And I think we've been successful with it, man. Corey Littles, do you think we can beat anybody with the offense we have right now? If defense can play well, shaking my head. Both got to show up, man. Both got to show up. I think we have a legitimate shot at beating Seattle. Seattle's injured. They're coming in this game limping up. Seattle also did not have – they also lucked when they played us, and they didn't have to play us fully healthy. We're getting much healthier now. We won't have Deshaun for that game, but we will have Jordan Howard back. So Jordan Howard mixed in with Miles Sanders, mixed in with Boston Scott, that's a different Eagles offense than what they played, man. Now, I will say this. Can their corners – and they're a little suspect in the secondary, to be honest with you. Can they lock up on Rob Davis? Can they lock up on JJ? Can they lock up on Greg Ward? We'll see. They struggled a little bit in coverage, to be honest. Philly Mike, what's up, brother? I just saw your comment. Eagles clip. You think we will approach the Giants like we did in the fourth quarter? Hopefully. Hopefully we go up tempo, man. Hopefully we let Wentz do his thing. Hopefully we punch the Giants in the mouth right away. We need to put the Giants away fast because here's my thing. I don't think the Giants are going to come in there thinking about vacation unless they fall behind. They fall behind knowing the season's over. How much real fight are they going to give you? If you let them hang in the game, they're going to fight you all the way through. Put them away quickly. That's what I would say. Corey, revamp the whole wide receiver core, please. I think they're going to have to find some solutions. I don't think they're going to give up on J.J. Arthur-Whiteside right now, guys. Deshaun Jackson may or may not be back. I mean, there is some dead cat money with Deshaun, so Me personally, I would just keep Deshaun because it's not really worth losing your dead cap there. Greg Ward Jr. I think has deserved, he's played well enough to deserve a contract. I would resign Greg Ward Jr., but I would probably bring in 2 receivers, if not 3. I don't think you can keep walking into games with this 3-4 receiver crap. Like, if anything showed you anything this season is you got to be deep at wide receiver. If you're going to run the style of offense we want to run, you need to be deep at receiver. You need to be deep at tight end. I think we got our 3 running backs if we decide to keep. If we find a way of bridging the gap with Jordan Howard and keeping him in the fold, we got our guys, man. We got our guys there. So it's gonna do this offense well if we can get those pieces together, man. Aunt Rizzo, this is a vertical offense. I think we need to get rid of Alshon and add nothing but speedy receivers next year, with Arcega being our only big body receiver. Aunt Rizzo, I don't completely disagree with what you're saying, man. So let me just say it this way, Aunt Rizzo. I think that you're correct in that we have to add speed. We need way more vertical speed than what we had going. It was ridiculous what we tried to do this year with only having Deshaun Jackson as the only vertical speed option you had. And the next guy up is Nelson Aguilar, who's really proven that if you put him on the outside and try to make him go vertical, that's not his game. He's not a guy that tracks the football well. Like, he's a guy that he'll break a tackle in the slot, and that's how he's fast, he's shifty. That's how he beats you. He's not the same kind of guy as Deshaun. So I do agree with you there, Aunt Rizzo, that you got to have vertical threats in the offense way more than what we had this season. Alshon's not going anywhere, man, because of the contract. I shouldn't say he's not going anywhere. It's a very, very unlikely Alshon's going anywhere because that's $26 million against your cap. Seems very unlikely that we would make that move. Also, it doesn't make sense if he's going to be on the IR or the PUP list to then cut him, because you're already saving yourself $10 million by not cutting him. And furthermore, he's not going to take up a roster spot for that length of time. So I think Alshon will be there. And I also think you can't make the mistake of not having an Alshon type body on your football team. I think you do need more than just J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, because let me tell you, if you go in there with a lot of short, shifty receivers, they're just going to press you. They're going to knock them off their routes and cause Carson have to hold, because now they're going to have to play catch up to get back into the route. So you got to be careful with that too. There are tactics and techniques around that type of offense as well. So you do need guys that can fight their way off the line of scrimmage. Billy Mike, what's good, buddy? Sorry, man, it just jumped on me on the comments, bro. I agree with everybody talking about we need that speed. That's why Carson is trying to play with. Yeah. Charles, Rasul should be Jenkins' replacement. He is a good tackler and Reed plays well. Charles, Rasul is an interesting case because he is more of a zone concept guy. Rasul has very good instincts in zone. Some of the plays he made earlier in the year on those like short dump off passes and quick wide receiver screens, he played them very well. As a matter of fact, the one that got broke on him in Atlanta that ultimately was the game winning score at the end of the day, there was an illegal block in the back there they got away with, because Rasul was playing very well on those plays. So I do think he's very good at reading and reacting to things. Where Sidney Jones, I think, is much, much more comfortable, and he's a much better man concept guy. He's better at the man-to-man concepts. When you run Sidney Jones in those zones, he's not the same guy, man. He cannot play off the ball very well. Now, can he develop? We'll see. Sexy Vegan, what's up, buddy? Just joined. What are you talking about? So we're talking about the roster move, Sexy Vegan. So we're talking about the fact that the Eagles brought back Richard Rodgers and decided to keep Alex Ellis on the practice squad instead of promoting him. So they went back. They dipped into the well again for Richard Rodgers, which this coaching staff has loved him and wanted him to be the number 3 tight end for many years now. They promoted this wide receiver named Deontay Burnett. He's a former guy that played at USC. He played with Sam Darnold. He's more of a slot guy. He's a very undersized guy, about 6 foot. The Jets had him listed at 170. NFL.com has him about 186. However, he's a scrappy little dude. He's got a little work to do with his route running, but he's a tough, scrappy guy. Well, I don't know much about him. We'll have to see what happens there, man. And then the Eagles brought up a guy named River Cracraft, River Cracraft, who's been on the Broncos practice squad for 3 years. So there is a lot of film on this guy. Like, the professional scouting department of the Philadelphia Eagles, guy that's been on someone else's practice squad for 3 years, There's some familiarity there. They kind of probably have an idea of what they were getting. They waived Jay Ajayi, and they just placed Ronald Darby on IR, man. That's pretty much what we're talking about now. We're getting into particulars of where we see the Eagles going, guys. All right, Sexy Vegan. Grow has been better the last couple of weeks. Hard to say, man. I don't know how much of this is Grow's fault, how much is Grow's credit. Like, I don't know how much Grow has to do with the offense, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think Doug Peterson is very clear on that. Even when they say, like Grow's supposed to be the passing game coordinator, and then he asked Doug about that, and Doug's like, well, my hands are on that. Then what does Grow do? What does he do? I'm confused as a guy that knows football, who's coached football. I don't know what Grow does, man. I don't understand his role. I don't get it, man. DD Scudderary, how comfortable are you with this weekend? I'm so back and forth about the Giants. It's a trap game, man. We got to be careful. This is a trap game. We have to be very, very careful here. Philly, let's go D. Still want Sanders to touch the ball at least 20 times. Ooh, that's a tricky one. Do you mean running the ball, or do you mean touching the ball as in like receiving, running, all the kind of put together, Philly, let's go D? Because if you're talking about all the put together between receiving and running, like, yeah, 20, 25 touches seems reasonable. I don't want to overutilize Sanders because he's best when he can be explosive. I don't want risk injury because of overutilization. Like, he's our most explosive player right now. And I think we have a little something with a 3-back set right now, so there's no need to overutilize people. Although I would love to see the Eagles to continue using 2-back sets because we got some interesting things coming up, man. Sexy Vegan. Gandy Golden. Aunt Rizzo. Is Marky McHale still on the practice squad? I believe so. Let me take a look for you real quick, man. I can tell you. So the last I heard, he was still on the practice squad, but honestly, they make so many of these moves throughout the year, guys, that it's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like week to week, it can change really quickly, but I didn't hear anything about him being cut or let go. So let me just take a look real fast. So I'm on PhiladelphiaEagles.com right now, guys. All right. So our practice squad currently is cornerback Tremaine Smith, center Keegan Render, wide receiver Markin McKelsey. Yeah, he's still there, guys. Kyle Luetta at quarterback, Albert Huggins at defensive tackle, D'Angelo Henderson at running back, Marcus Green at receiver, Alex Ellis at tight end, Deshaun Davis at linebacker, and then River Cracraft at wide receiver. So currently our practice squad. So he's still there. Philly, let's go D, both. Yeah, I agree with you then. Yeah, maybe if you're talking about receiving and running, yeah, he needs about 20 touches, no doubt. No doubt. What percentage is 2-back sets? Are you talking about from last week, the past 2 weeks? Like what distance of time do you want me to look up for you, man? I can tell you. So that's an easy one to do, man. So let's just go to offensive frequency. So if you want 2-back sets in terms of 21, 22 men, that type of thing, guys, we'll go up here. And here, you guys want me to show you the screens? That way you guys can see exactly where I get this stuff from. Let me share the screen for you guys. All right, give me a second, guys. I got to go to my Chrome tabs and then pull it up for you guys. All right, guys, it should show now. So it's going to take this a second to load, guys. So you got to come up here and you got to change it to all. And then you got to come to the weeks and you got to differentiate between what weeks you want. So let's just go with the last 3 weeks, guys. So we'll say, first off, let's take all off. Let's go with weeks 16, 15, and 14, right? We'll apply that. Now, they may not show you the Eagles, guys. The problem is the Eagles, some of these people who keep stats, they don't understand the personnel frequencies with the Eagles. So that could be an issue where they don't know what's going on. Oh, no, they got us here. Good. So we went down to 13% of snaps in the past 3 weeks being an 11-man, 69% of our snaps coming in from 12-man, guys. All right, let me see. I can't see the frequencies from here, so I'm going to go up a little bit, and I can tell you. Okay, so here we go. So 21-man is 8%, 22 man is 3%. So over the last 3 weeks, guys, we're at 11% from two back set. Now, if you want me to limit that down even further, I'll take week 14 off and just do the last 2 weeks, since I think that's the weeks that we've been primarily in two back sets. So that might skew the percentages. The amount of plays won't be drastically different, but percentages might change if we look at it now. So Philly, 13%, 11 man in the past 2 weeks, 63%, 12 man in the past 2 weeks, 11% inside of 21 man in the past 2 weeks, and 6% inside of 22 man. So that's about what, 17%? So 17% of our plays, guys, are coming out of that now. So definitely an uptick in the amount of times we're using two back sets. Now keep in mind, I will tell you this. Number one, sometimes they're not as accurate. They might miss a play or two. And then number two, you can't discount the fact that when Zach Ertz left the football game, that may have skewed how often Doug plans to use two back sets, because with Ertz down, that may have led us to use more Boston Scott and Miles Sanders on the field at the same time, and then utilize more two back sets. So you got to keep those things in mind. All right. Let's see, guys. Aunt Rizzo, I also miss Frank Reich because him and Doug would have had this team as constructed, looking beastie for playoffs, in my opinion. Frank Reich he's a special guy, man. I agree with you, man. I agree with you there. He's not doing so well as the head coach right now, guys, but as a coordinator, he's good, man. He's a very good coordinator. He was part of that magic we had in 2017. There's no doubt about it. Last few weeks. So hopefully that answered it, Philly. Let's go, D. So if we were to extend it out to 3-week period, it's about 11% of the time we're in two back sets. But if you narrow it down to just week 15 and 16, it's 17% of all players are coming from 21 and 22 man or two back sets. Mind you, 20 man personnel would also be a two back set, but we don't use that just because it's hard for us to get three receivers and two backs with the way the roster is currently constructed. And also, it wouldn't make sense to pull Ertz or Goddard off the field. Like, they're two of our best players. All right. TT Scudery. Miles is special, 100%, bro. That dude is way better than I thought he would be. I think he needs to be on the field as much as possible. Yeah, everything you're saying, bro. I agree with you. Without overworking the kid. He certainly has a chance at Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think it's highway robbery if he doesn't get it at this point. I know the running back Jacobs from Oakland had a pretty strong beginning of the year, but man, this kid has really turned it on late in the year, especially if he's part of one of the bigger reasons why the Eagles make the playoffs and win the division. Come on, man. You're like, come on. It's crazy that he wouldn't be Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year. And when Howard was playing, we were using two back sets. Not really, Philly, let's go, D. We used them sparingly. One of the biggest plays of the seasons came out of the two back set when we had Jordan Howard basically being utilized as a lead blocker on a play that freed Miles Sanders for like a 60-some yard touchdown in Buffalo. But we didn't use it that much because we were a little healthier. Now, will we use more two back sets given the health of the roster and the fact that clearly Sanders, Howard, Scott, Goddard, Ertz, and I would probably say Greg Ward Jr. are probably our more talented offensive skill set players? More than likely. More than likely, sir. What's up, Bird Gang? How you doing, man? All right, what we got, man? All right, Bird Gang, you think if we go up early during the Giants game, we should take Carson out? If it's a big, big lead. I mean, if we know the game's over, God, don't expose him to injury. Get him out of there. If the game's over and we know the Giants have just quit on the season, they're done, get him out of there. I agree. Get him out of there if the Giants aren't fighting. And Rizzo cannot wait until Howard comes back and playing the Giants would just knock that rust off for the playoffs. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, bro, we're playing a lot of 12-man, man. It's crazy, Bergen. We're playing a whole lot of 12-man. I guess it's not that crazy though, given the status of our roster. Like, although I do worry that we're becoming way too heavy in 12-man. That teams are going to look at this short passing game and start coming up with creative ways to shut it down. Luckily, no one's adjusted yet, but I don't agree with what's going out there, Bird Gang. I keep hearing people say that like, oh, the Eagles like they're just getting by because they're playing really bad defenses. Those people aren't paying attention to the Giants and they're not paying attention to the Redskins. Don't get me wrong. The Giants are going to struggle in the secondary now that now that Janoris Jenkins is gone. However, that defensive line and their linebackers are pretty good. That defensive line is really good for New York. Washington's got defensive talent. Like, I don't understand what these people are talking about at times, man. Like, it just seems like these are guys that just look at a record and don't look into any of the specifics about the team. Sexy Vegan, watch us beat the Ravens or Patriots in the Super Bowl if we make it, but lose to the Bengals. What do you mean, man? Tell what do you mean, bro? You got me confused here, Sexy Vegan. Okay. Never mind, bro. Never mind. I see your next comment next year. I got you. I got you. So what he was saying, guys, and I misrepresented him there because I didn't see the second comment. So he's saying, watch us win the Super Bowl this year, then turn around and lose to like a pitiful team to begin next year, like the Bengals, basically. Billy, let's go D. How was Big V last week? Looked like he had a good game. Up and down, man. He was up and down. Overall, pretty good game, man. Dallas has got a really good pass rush. He got beat a couple times. Overall, played pretty well. Yeah, Bird Gang Sports. We just had to play 3 divisional games back to back and win them all. That's hard in any division. 100%, man. 100%, guys. The one thing people always overlook about divisional games is like, oh, you barely beat this team. You barely beat that team. Dude, it's a divisional game. These guys are giving us their A-plus efforts. They're not out there trying to lose football games to the Eagles so that we got bragging rights over them. They know they got to play us 2 more times next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know that, especially when it comes to New York and Washington, like, our fan bases are kind of hunched around each other. Like, nobody's trying to lose that game, man. Nobody wants to lose those divisional games. Like, I think people put too much into an opponent's record sometimes. Aunt Rizzo, what is the plan in case we play the Packers again? Has that run defense bolstered up since I saw a little of yesterday's game and Za'Darius is good? Their pass rush is really good. Really, really good. I think they're still susceptible to the run. However, I think that team, that's the team that scares me a little bit just because they were embarrassed by the Eagles. I wouldn't put it past them to really, really want a football game against us. Like, play us harder than they're going to play anyone else because it was embarrassing, man. Like, they had never lost on a Thursday, right? Aaron Rodgers never lost to the Eagles. They had the game in Lambeau. Like, I mean, it was embarrassing for them. They were embarrassed by the way they played. And, it's tough to say, Aunt Rizzo, because this is what I'll say. I just feel like this team is better now than it was in week 2. It's not as talented, but it's better. It's playing better. Sexy Vegan. We woke up the beast in Dwayne Haskins against the Giants. He was 12 of 15 for 124 yards and 2 touchdown passes before he got hurt. When I did the film breakdown on Dwayne Haskins, I tried to warn people that I thought that there was much left to desire in his game. With that said, I thought he was kind of coming on. He looked like he was becoming competent back there, and he's very athletic. So, look, he's not like he's not a Lamar Jackson type. He's not, what I'm saying, he's not that type of talent. He's more of a lesser version of Watson, of Deshaun Watson, right? A guy that can beat you with his legs. He's got the ability there, but he'd rather throw from the pocket. He'll move the pocket like Watson likes to move the pocket. Like, Watson was a very experienced quarterback. That one, I didn't understand why he wasn't like a top 3 pick. From what I saw from him coming out of Clemson, I didn't understand that one. I don't evaluate college talent like that though, guys, but from what I saw, it was crazy, man. I don't get it. Eagles split. Miles Sanders or Saquon Barkley? Man, it's hard to say because I'm an Eagles homer, man. I'm an Eagles fan. Like, Given the style of offense the Eagles play, and this is how I'll answer this. Because of the system we run, Miles Sanders. Who's the actual better back? Saquon. Philly Mike, Aunt Rizzo, Packers run defense still trash. Yeah, I agree, Philly Mike. It's not that great. Pass rush is really good. Secondary's up and down at times. Run defense hasn't been very good at all this year. Sorry, guys, my throat's starting to dry up. Aunt Rizzo, do you think we should draft DeAndre Swift out of Georgia, Philly native, if we lose out on Jordan Howard? Aunt Rizzo, I think you're hitting on something, which is this, man. If we cannot sign Jordan Howard back, we need a guy who can be physical between the tackles. We need a guy who can come in and, take a handful of carries and convert on short down distance, goal line distance stuff, right? Stuff like that. So I'm with you there. I don't know if, like I said, guys, I haven't really gotten into studying the film of who's going to be available, where the Eagles draft position is in relative rounds. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things matter when you're evaluating that stuff. Hard to say. Toby Scott, Saquon all day. Ooh. Toby, I agree that Saquon is the better player. It's hard, man. It's hard because Toby, this is what I'll say. We're not done with Miles Sanders yet. This kid's not done developing. He's not done developing yet. So right now, sure, he's got experience. He's explosive. You know what I mean? Like he's the prototypical running back. He's what you would draw up in the room. He can catch. He can run. You know what I mean? Like, of course. But I got to be honest with you, man. Miles Sanders has been a lot better than I thought. Now, I will say this, Toby. In the beginning of the year, when people were asking me who the best running back in the league was, I said Saquon over Ezekiel Elliott. So let's see. Sexy Vegan, look up on YouTube. I'm in love with Mariota. It's called I'm in love with Mariota, man. I'm in love with Mariota. All right, I'll check it out, man. GT Scudderary. With how much we use our tight ends and utilize 12 man, how much will Ertz possibly not playing affect our game plan and personnel packages this weekend? Very good question, sir. Very, very good question. The honest to God answer is I don't know. It depends on how much faith we have in Richard Rodgers, however you say his name, man. The coaching staff loved this guy, man. They really thought he was going to be something as the third tight end. I'll be honest with you. My gut instinct says that they're probably going to keep utilizing 12 man. It probably will still be the dominant formation we came out in. Now, look, we keep bringing up these wide receivers, so we may move back towards 11 man a little bit. That may be a possibility. We might start moving back towards 11 man. I'll say that. Hopefully the Eagles get creative. If Ertz can't go, we're going to need to be really creative with the way that we actually utilize personnel packages. So 69% of the offense, GT, I don't think so, man. I think we'd see a little back, maybe back towards 55, 60% of the offense. A little more 11 man, a little more two back sets if Ertz can't go. But I don't know, man. Like he hasn't played in a while. That's the other fear I have, man, is that if Ertz can't go, Rodgers might be healthy, but he hasn't played in freaking forever. Like he got injured the first year the Eagles signed him. He got injured last year, and he got injured this year. Like, what game shape is he in? Like, that's my fear of saying that. Like, that's why I think it's such a hard thing to like say, like, oh no, the Eagles will be 60% or more in 12-man personnel. If Ertz doesn't go, Rodgers hasn't played in like 4 years. Hard to say, man. Aunt Rizzo, I think Dak could look like a monster on Tennessee Titans with Mike Vrabel. Aunt Rizzo, I think Dak Prescott's actually a good quarterback, man. I told people that I talked to, I got a lot of people around me that are Dallas Cowboy fans. And when I talked to them, I told them straightforward, I remembered what Dak Prescott did in a bowl game against a very, very good NC State defense. I listen. I studied at NC State, guys. My bachelor's degree pretty much was done through NC State University, and then I ended up finishing off basically at UNCG. So while I was there, they ended up going to play Dak Prescott in a bowl game. And I got to be honest with you guys, that team had some top talent on the defense at NC State, and he lit them up. He lit NC State up. So I kind of knew going into the draft that people were, they were underrating him. And I don't think he's in the same talent pool as Carson Wentz, but at the same time, I do think he's better than we like to give Dallas fans shit, but I think he's a decent quarterback. If I'm going to be honest. Uh, Toby Scott, what position? Sorry, man. The screen jumped on me, man. What position should we draft first? I'm hoping we draft wide receiver, corner, wide receiver. We need the honest to God truth, Toby, is we need to see the young kids play so we know where to go draft. It's a matter of where we are in terms of where we're drafting at, where we're at in terms of positioning, what the needs are of the offense, of the defense, what players are available. All those things factor in. I would say we desperately need to draft a corner and a wide receiver within the first 3 rounds of the draft. I do think that we probably should be looking at guard or center, left guard or center. Doesn't have to be someone that steps into place right away, but we do need someone that we can develop over the next year or two. And the coaching staff will never do this. Well, I shouldn't say the coaching staff. That's not the right way of saying it. Howie Roseman will probably never do this, but if we fall back on a stud safety or a stud linebacker, it just depends on who's there, man. I would hope they would do that, but I doubt they would, Toby. I think it's going to be wide receiver, corner, or an offensive lineman. Personally, I think that's what's going to end up happening. Sexy Vegan, he did. Yeah, Rodgers was with Green Bay before Philly. Yeah. Charles Smith, this is only Rodgers' second year with us. He is a very good blocker. Nah, bro, this is third, man. This is third year, bro. Philly, let's go D. I wish we signed Long a few weeks ago. I heard he had a conflict with Schwartz. Playoffs, I would love to see an upgrade on our rush defense. Let's see. The so the issue with are you referring to Chris Long? Philly, let's go D. So this is what I heard about Chris Long. Howie Roseman told Chris Long to stay by the phone. That once the Malik Jackson injury happened, spend a couple weeks, get yourself back into football shape, and we'll bring you in. Well, then when the decision was brought to Schwartz basically called Chris Long and said, "Hey, man, appreciate it, but we're not bringing you in." I don't know how he feels. Imagine he's a little pissed off about it, but it is what it is, man. I mean, I think we could have used the veteran guy as well. I think trading Michael Bennett was a mistake, but Michael Bennett from what I understand, Michael Bennett's a very difficult locker room guy. So I don't know how he was in the locker room in the Eagles. I mean, I wasn't. We'd have to ask former players or guys that are made privileged to be in the locker room to see that. But he was very talented. Michael Bennett is a very talented passer. Yeah, he played in Green Bay, guys. Is Ramsey a free agent this year? No, I think I'm pretty sure he. Well, let me look it up, man. Patrick Ramsey. Let me look it up. I think he did a. I'm pretty sure they worked out a contract for him before the after the trade. Patrick Ramsey contract, but I'll look it up real quick, man. Let's see. All right, guys. So I'm on spottrack.com. Let me see. Did I pull up the wrong player? My bad, guys. All right, Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey. Let me look at Jalen Ramsey's contract. My bad, guys. So I'm going to go, I'll look at both of them, over the cap and spot track. So let's take a look at what he's got here. This would be a big blunder of the Rams if they didn't lock this up. It looks like he has an option year for next year, guys. So hang on, I'll share the screen with you so you guys can see it. Give me a minute, I'll share the screen, okay? So let me go to, can I even share the screen anymore? Where's it at? All right, guys, share screen. I'm assuming, guys, that they're going to resign him. Hopefully everybody can see this because I can't see you guys. So just let me know in the comments if you can't see it. But his current contract for this year, obviously, because of what's going on, he's got a 2.3 cap number. Most of that was in money that was like, roster bonus, things like that. There were things that honestly that had to be eaten by the Jaguars when they traded him. He's got an option year for next year, which is $13.7 million. To be honest with you, that's not a bad option, but I would definitely expect that they are going to restructure that contract, guys, because that is very favorable to the Rams, not so favorable to Ramsey because he's probably playing above that contract number. So I don't know that the Eagles would. I'm not too sure if he would. He's not a free agent, Aunt Rizza. He's got one more year on that contract, man. Now, could the Rams separate from him and walk away? Sure. He's got no guaranteed money, guys, and there's no dead cap on him. It's all in his base salary. It's all in his base salary. So 13.7 million is base salary for next year. Rams can walk away from that with no cap suffrage at all. So will they do it? I don't know. Eagles clip. Would you trade Alshon Jeffrey for OBJ? No. It's not a talent thing. It's a money thing. No. You trade Alshon Jeffrey $26 million, and you have to eat whatever part of the OBJ contract that comes over from his base salary. I don't even think that's possible, man. I don't think the money would line up. Philly, let's go D. Yes. Is OBJ in an Eagles uniform realistic, though? No, I don't think so. And Rizzo. It's not that I wouldn't like to see guys like OBJ here, guys. It's that the numbers don't make sense when you look at who we're trying to trade for them. I mean, it sucks, man. It is what it is, man. I heard D-Jax may be coming back about playoff time. So, Kevin, D-Jax is eligible for the divisional round of the playoffs. That's when, if he's healthy enough and can get cleared, technically he is able to come back. So 8 weeks, he was put on IR. 8 weeks, we can't activate him. So we'll see. It looks like if we get there, he's going to play. That's my impression of the situation. Sexy Vegan, my favorite Carson Wentz performance was versus the Giants week 16, his rookie year. Charles Smith, let me look it up, man. I don't want to say that I'm absolutely right on that. I could be wrong, man, but I'm pretty sure he was here 3 years, but let me look it up, man. I could be wrong. So let's take a look and we'll see. I mean, we can just Google him real fast and it'll pop up. Apparently there's some other guy that's not a football player. So let me, hang on, guys. I hate when that crap happens. All right, let's take a look at his career stats, guys, and we'll see real quick, man. So Charles Smith, you're correct, man. 2017, he was with Green Bay, so you are correct there. All right. Yeah, Selleck was there in 2017. That's not what I was mixed up on. I knew Selleck was there. I thought Richard Rodgers had signed with us in 2017, but I may be confusing his injuries because he was injured in 2017 at the end of the year. So I may have been confusing his injuries for the 3 years of consecutive injuries with 3 years of consecutive play with the Eagles. What do I think about Beast Mode coming back? Short yardage, sure. A little physicality to them again, sure. The guy that he was before, no. I mean, we got to see if this guy even has anything left in his legs, man. I mean, Jay Ajayi was eye opening to me because I thought Jay Ajayi, like once he was clear and that knee was right, like he'd be okay. Jay Ajayi looks flat to me, so I'm not too sure what he's going to have left either out there in Seattle. To be honest with you, beast mode. I can't see Lynch having that much left, man. D Block, Merry Christmas to you, bro. Sexy Vegan, trading for OBJ is a bad idea because as soon as Wentz throws a bad ball at OBJ, he will just start talking trash on him. It's hard to say, Sexy Vegan, man. Like, who knows how they'll react to one another, but I do get the concern there that it does bother me that like you're walking around asking like telling other coaches like, oh, come get me. Like, dude, focus on your team right now, man. Do that in the offseason. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't know, man. Aunt Rizzo, what team would you want to play in the playoffs the most? Seattle. I'd take Seattle personally. Outside of Seattle, Minnesota. Minnesota, I think, is the next team that I would love to get a chance at an opportunity to play Minnesota again because the way that they embarrassed us in Minnesota, I would love that. It's not going to happen because I just don't think the records are going to work out that way. I think they're clearly going to be the 6th seed, but I would love the opportunity to have Minnesota have to come to Philly because that's a team I would love to play again. That's what he did to Baker. Yeah, I mean, Sexy Vegan, it's hard to say, man. I mean, to be honest with you, man, like it's really hard to say, Sexy Vegan, because so much of what gets reported in the media compared to what's actually happened in the locker room, man, like, I don't know. He didn't seem like that kind of dude in New York. Maybe it's because he had an established dude in Eli there, and other than like that, I'll ask you this: the criticism that's been reported coming out about Baker, do you think it's warranted? I mean, that's the other side, to it. I mean, I don't think it's. Honestly, Sexy Vegan. I don't think that move is going to happen just because of the money. The money doesn't make sense. I'm not saying anything will or won't happen 100% because sometimes you find a way of moving money around, doing different deals with guys, like make things fit. I just don't think it'll happen though. I don't. Hang on, guys. I missed a thing. Charles Smith, I'm only here to help you sharpen your output. I look forward to checking out your content every day. Thank you, Charles Smith. I appreciate you, brother. Kevin, what's up, buddy? You think we going to let Jim Jernigan go and pick a defense tackle in the draft? No, man. I think Jernigan is gone. I think part one of that, like Timmy Jernigan, I think he's gone. But I think that we have enough in the fold. I think the Eagles like Anthony Rush. I think if once the Eagles get back next year, when they get back, hang on, guys. I'm trying to think. What's my name? What's his name? Hang on. Let me look it up real fast. Hassan Ridgeway. Never mind. I don't even need to look it up. Once the Eagles get back Hassan Ridgeway, so when you got, Fletcher Cox, you got Jackson, Malik Jackson, you got Hassan Ridgeway, and you got, the deep tier guys we have with Anthony Rush and these guys we have in the contract now. Like, I don't think it's necessary to go after a defensive tackle, to be honest. I think we have a lot there. Now, I think the concern you have with defensive tackle is it's the age. Malik Jackson, I think, will be 29-ish, 30-ish next year. So there is some concern, but I just think that's something that's a little more down the road. I don't think you worry about that for another year or two. Baker sucks, but we don't need another distraction on offense. Sexy Vegan. Baker is smaller. Jameis Winston, a pick machine. Eagles Clip. I wasn't saying I wanted OBJ. I'd rather draft 2 or 3 good receivers. You're good, bro. Don't worry about it. Look, OBJ. Why did I keep saying it wrong? OBJ, guys, my bad, is a really, really talented wide receiver. I'm not going to I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if the Eagles went out there and acquired him. But I just don't think, I just don't think it's within the realm of of reason because of the contract numbers. I mean, there's a lot to be said about the fit culturally in the locker room, if it would work or not. I don't know. But, you know, for me, it's more of a contract thing. Eagles clip to why it wouldn't work. It just, you know, I think he makes a hefty sum, man, to be honest with you. And I don't think that you can pair that with what you already would have to eat to ship out Alshon. And would you want to ship out a different guy? I mean, that's the other side of it. Like, if you ship out a player like Deshaun Jackson, now you've lost an element of the stretch. So you better have another guy in mind that you can use in that particular situation, or, you know, it's not going to work for you. Because now once again, your offense is becoming very one dimensional. So let's see. Yeah, he's got, oof. Yeah, he's owed some money, guys. So here's the deal with OBJ. There is an absolutely 1,000% chance that he is let go from the Cleveland Browns. So not $1 of his money is guaranteed next year, guys. He has no dead cap next year, but he is getting $14 million. That's what you would have to eat for the contract. So hang on, guys. I'll show you the screen. All right. So the problem is, as you're looking at him for the Eagles, it's the money. It's simply put, getting the money to fit for the Eagles. And Odell Beckham. All right, guys, this should be popping up now. So you can see this year, guys, the dead cap on him is 16.75, and his guaranteed or his cap number was 17, right? So they would have saved money if they traded him this year. The issue is the Eagles, if the Eagles went and traded for him, they have to take that base salary on. So that's at least $14 million the Eagles have to pay. Now, this is why I never say never in this situation. It is possible, if they want him gone bad enough, guys, might they do something crazy like pay part of his contract to get rid of him? Yeah, I think you have to pay a significant amount of that contract to get rid of him, guys, because I'm going to show you Alshon Jeffrey's contract, guys, because you'd have to eat Alshon's. So I think Alshon, I'm sorry, I think OBJ can absolutely be moved during the offseason, guys, because the contract makes sense to move him from the Browns' perspective. I just think it's a hard ordeal for the Eagles to take on an extra $14 million at the wide receiver position because of Alshon's contract. Now, we'd have to work the numbers, guys, to really figure it out. Give me a second. I'm going to share the screen again. We have to really work the numbers to figure out the situation with the salary cap and if you keep Alshon on the team, because you are saving $10 million by not trying to move him, because you're not, that dead cap's not hitting you if you don't try to move, cut him, anything like that. So let me go to share screen and I'll show you Alshon, all right? So let's go here. So this is Alshon Jeffrey's contract in reverse, guys, all right? All right, close that. Sorry, guys, get this thing, get out of the way. Close. All right. All right, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have to redo this one again because he's trying to download on it. It's like messing with me, but this thing, come on. I'm gonna go outside of Spot Track and just see if I can't find another one to show you on this one, because the way Spot Track is trying to pull up is just really funny. So I'm gonna go to Over the Cap, and I'll pull it up from Over the Cap and show you. All right, guys. So hang on, I'm bringing it back up for you again. So let me share screen. Share screen. So I'll show you the exact money, guys. Like I said, guys, I don't like to play GM, but I just want to show you what I'm seeing I make here. So 2019, guys, his dead cap this year is $32.175 million. His cap number is $6 million. You talk about having your contract guaranteed for this year, it's definitely guaranteed. Next year in 2020, he's scheduled to make $15.4 million against the cap, and his dead cap is $26.1. So if you cut him, if you trade him, if you do any of that, you have to eat that additional $10, $11 million. That's the issue with Alshon Jeffrey. Now, there is something that's called the June 1st designation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. But if you designate a guy as a June 1st designation, so you can do 2 players prior to June 1st, okay? But the salary cap numbers don't go into effect until after June 1st. So when you designate someone a June 1st, that means you take that total sum and you divide it up over 2 seasons. So you could do that. So it only hits you half of it would only hit you this year. Next, half would hit you the following year. But you guys get what I'm saying? Those numbers are huge. 26 million is no laughing matter. Like, that's a big number to eat, guys. So it's just hard to get around the Alshon Jeffrey aspect of it. All right, let's see what we got. All right. All right. ODB would fit in much more than AB. I don't know, guys. I don't know how Fitz would work in a locker room because that's a chemistry between guys. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how their chemistry would be, guys. It's hard to say. Kevin McLennan, please. I hope we let Darby go, man. He is pissing me off. Yeah, me too, Kevin. I'd rather let Sidney Jones build his reps. Absolutely, 100%, bro. And Rizzo, which free agent do you think we need this most coming up? Because I think AJ Green is. I don't think Aunt Rizzo. AJ Green is an exceptional talent. I don't think I'd go in that direction though. If it's in the realm of possibility, okay. And I understand that the Jets are going to want to go after this player and keep him in the fold. I would lean more towards going after the Jets wide receiver. What's his name? I'm trying to think again, guys. I know one of y'all know it, but they got a speed guy up there that's 6'3". He's a guy that's got like 4.3 speed. I don't think of his name. I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now, but I would go in that direction, guys. What's up, Ewing 609? How you doing, buddy? Philly Mike, I don't know how long you plan on doing this more, but if I get to my spot, let me know if you want me to join via my phone. Yeah, bro, let me know when you're at your spot, bro. I'll pull it up for you, man. How much longer away are you, bro? All right, let's see. OBJ, Djax, Greg Ward, Sanders. Let me see how that will look on Madden. Laugh out loud. That's what it feels like, Charles. Is like you're setting up a Madden roster. All right, Erickson. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the comments jump. That's why it takes me a second. Erickson. AJ Green is injury prone and seems to be a quitter. I don't know about his personal character, but I agree with you, Erickson. He's had a lot of injuries. Sexy Vegan. If we release Alshon, I wouldn't be surprised if he signed with the team that Nick Foles is on next year. Sexy Vegan. Here's what I'll say, guys. Never say never. Something won't happen. Unlikely to happen. It's unlikely to happen because of the number. If we cut him, like I said, it's 26 million. Now, I'll say this: if they cut Alshon Jeffrey, he was an absolute cancer in the locker room. Because there's no way you eat because you're destructing your roster. Well, I wouldn't say your roster. You're destructing your cap space for 2 years by doing that. So, you know what I mean? Like, he has to really piss you off to do it. You know what I mean? You guys get what I'm saying? It's not that like I love Alshon. I think it's nothing to do with that. It's just purely financial. I don't think the Jags are keeping Foles. That's an interesting one, Sexy Vegan. I wonder what the hit is on him because they had to put some guaranteed money on that, bro. You think next year Alshon will step up his game to stay longer? Eagles clip. How long is Alshon going to be out, man? Because he had to have the surgery, just like from my understanding, he has to have the same surgery that Jalen Mills had. So is this going to be a guy that's out for 9 months, 9 to 12 months? Like that's, woo. I don't know, bro. Hard to say, man. He might even be back for the majority of the season. Glenn Curo, what's up, bro? We must have a plan for Alshon because we drafted Whiteside. Right. We need more rest from Whiteside, though, man, because right now I don't know how much we would trust Whiteside in that predominant role. I think that's why it's so important right now to get J.J. Arcega-Whiteside reps because that would go a long way with easing our minds. I agree with you there. If J.J. Arcega-Whiteside can start to show that he's that type of receiver, yeah, he's going to ease our minds there. Lone Revolver. Thanks, bro. I was like, damn, why am I forgetting his name? It is Robbie Anderson. That's who I would target if I was the Eagles. Robbie Anderson's 6'3", like 215-ish. He's got 4.3 speed. He's grown as a route runner over the years. He had a big knock on him early in his career that he just wasn't a very polished route runner. He's gotten a lot better at that. And I think he's a guy that, you know what I mean? Like, he's not the guy, but he'll fit in with the locker room of guys, if that makes sense. Tito, thanks, man. That's exactly what Robbie Anderson's what I was thinking of, guys. GT Scudderary, Robbie Anderson. Yeah, you guys are all over that one, bro. Robbie Anderson, Philly Mike. Yeah, I don't know why he blanked my mind, man. He blanked my mind, but that's who I would target. I would go after Robbie Anderson. Des22, what's up, buddy? I think we get young wide receivers in the draft and free agency players that know this is Wentz's team. I think we also go heavy D-line and free agency. The D-line is the curious one to me because of the pass rusher, Des. I don't feel secure in what we have at the pass rushing position. Don't, man. Our two most productive players this year have been Vinny Curry and Brandon Graham. Two guys I love as Philadelphia Eagles, man. Much respect to those two guys. They're old as dirt, bro. Like, that scares me. That scares me. Sexy Vegan, the Eagles have no cap space in Madden. I think we got currently, well, I don't know because of all these moves that happened recently, but at one point in time, we had about 26 million in cap space, roughly 26 to 28 million, somewhere in that area. Sexy Vegan, the Eagles medical staff would try to fix a broken bone with Elmer's glue. Are we sure they're not doing that already? You know what's crazy is that we were one of the first teams to implement a sports nutrition department, like a sports science department, into the front office. This innovative, groundbreaking thing, right? What good did that do us? What good has that done us? I'm concerned. Sexy Vegan, was it you that brought up the turf issue that maybe is the reason we're suffering so many Liz Franks related to the turf? I thought that was a good point. I don't know. I don't know that much about that type of thing, but that's a very interesting conversation. Is our turf having an impact on this? Is it general age of the players? There's so much that could be going on with that crap, man. Is it more of a lack of like actual fitness? Is it a fitness thing where these guys are not getting themselves ready for the season? Hard to say, bro. Really hard to say in these situations, man. Ewing 609, that Robbie Anderson touchdown catch on Sunday blew my mind. He was double covered. I'm telling you, if the Jets don't want Robbie Anderson, I do. I want Robbie Anderson. That dude's good, man. He's a good football player, bro. Charles Smith, I think we shouldn't worry about Alshon. He won't be able to play next year due to his injury. I agree, Charles Smith. I think he's going to be out for the majority of next season anyways. If you put him on IR, you put him on the PUP list, he's not going to count against your 53-man roster, and releasing him is only going to cost you $10 million. If he's away from the team working out, rehabbing, like he's not going to hurt you. I think it would be a bit of an overreaction, but I make no predictions on the Eagles. Like, if the Eagles do it, just know they're sacrificing $26 million of cap space to do it. That's all I can say, guys. How he does, bro, I don't want to be tied to Howie, man. That guy does some brilliant things, and he does some like, what are you thinking things. I don't know, man. Yeah, exactly. It'd be around this time next year is what I heard too, man. Glenn, what's up, buddy? I think I said that already. Do we extend Malcolm Jenkins? He's been great the last few weeks. He's been great. I agree with you, sir. I don't know, man. It's hard to imagine this football team, this defense without Malcolm Jenkins, but man, we struggled this year in coverage with him, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do. It concerns me they haven't done it yet, Glenn. That really concerns me, man, because I think someone asked me a question once before. I don't know if it was on a live stream or if it was in the comments of the video. They asked me if I thought that Malcolm Jenkins might be spiteful the fact that he didn't receive the contract extension already. It is possible, man. Maybe he was a little spiteful about that. I don't know. I don't like to try to, get into the psyche of guys unless it's obvious. Like, it's obvious that, guys like Nelson Aguilar are having mental issues. Like, he's got a mental health issue. Something's going on with him to where when pressure's on him, man, he folds to pressure. He just doesn't do good. Like those kind of things are very obvious. But like the other stuff with like contracts, it's hard to say, man. Like unless you're on the inner circle, you know what I mean? It's really difficult to say that. What you say, sexy vegan? Come on, bro. Let me figure out what you said, man. Yeah, Elmer's glue. Yeah, bro. Kevin, you think when Howard play this week? You think when Howard plays this week, he's going to interfere with Sanders' touches? I hope not. It depends on how they utilize the running offense. I think with it such a shortage of receiving threats now that you got Ertz might not be able to play. You're down all these guys. You really only have Greg Ward Jr. that you know for a fact is going to be productive through the air. Dallas Goedert, you know what I mean? And then your running backs. I would think that we might be able to complement that backfield in a way that makes sense. So I don't think it's going to hurt Miles Sanders, and I think Miles Sanders is the guy at this point. Look, I thought Jordan Howard was just an absolute beast this year for the Eagles, especially in that Buffalo and Chicago game. He was picking up steam before that injury, guys. I mean, he was really rolling. I got to tell you, man. It, I think you have to give Sanders his touches. I think Sanders is your lead back now. And now the roles have been flipped. Sanders is your lead back, and Jordan Howard is the complementary back. Just like prior to the bye week, Jordan Howard was your primary back, and then Sanders was the change of pace, the complementary back. So I think those roles have reversed. All right, Eagles clip. You think they will give Greg Ward a contract after this season? I think so, man. I mean, what more does the guy need to do to prove himself? Like, then again, they didn't put him on the roster at the beginning of the year, so I think so. But if it was this is what I'll say, Eagles clip. If it was my decision, he'd 100% be on a roster. 100%, I'd put him on a roster, man. Zoe from the city. Who the fuck is Richard Rodgers? He's a tight end that's been on the Eagles for the past couple of years. He's a guy that the coaching staff has liked a lot, but because of injuries, they've never really been able to get him on the field. He was the guy that got cut at the beginning of the year because of his injuries, and then the Eagles decided to go with two tight ends instead of carrying a third tight end, originally just because they didn't feel confident in the other guys he had as a third tight end. For 2 straight years, he's had season-ending injuries. And the year prior to that, in 2017, he had an injury as well that kind of took him out during the end of the year. So he's a guy that he played for Green Bay for a while. He's a very productive tight end. He does have some pass catching ability, but at this point, I don't know where his health is. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like those things they're a concern when you get to that. Sexy vegan. Yeah, my mom went to the Eagles Mother's Day event at the Link, and she said that the turf was like bouncy. Huh. That's an interesting perspective, sexy vegan, because we've had a lot of foot injuries. And it does kind of make sense that either your conditioning is bad, this medical staff is not very good, or the turf. Something's going on with the turf. So, something's going on there. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, GT Scuderi. What can we realistically do this offseason to fix that sketchy secondary? Burn it down. No, I'm kidding. Jalen Mills will probably be back, guys. I'd say Jalen Mills is back. Safety is a big issue for me. I think we need a third safety. It needs to be a young guy that can play. I think you have to find a number one corner. It doesn't have to be a lockdown Jalen Ramsey type, but it has to be a true number one corner who gives you stability, right? It's going to be in the right place. He's going to make a play on the ball. Like he's respectable in coverage. We need that. We do need that. I think we were pretty good inside of inside our nickel and dime in the slot area, that nickel corner position. I think that we're plenty fine there. I think Avonte Maddox is very good at that. I think LeBlanc is very good at that. So I think those areas were fine. I do think we need another shutdown corner, and I think we need another safety. So when I say another shutdown corner, I think we need a shutdown corner because we don't have that, period. Now, does it need to be someone to the level of Jalen Ramsey? No. I don't think it needs to be that much. All right, Ewing 609. What's the verdict on our defensive backs last year? Double moves killed them this year. Fly routes killed them. In my opinion, it's got to be coaching. Do you agree? Yeah, it's clearly coaching, man. It's Unlin. It's Corey Underlin. He's not very good. He's not. I mean, look, I'm not trying like I said, guys. I'm not trying to disrespect the coaching staff because I know they got a hard and difficult job, and I'm not saying I could do any better, with the exception of Carson Walsh, because I've coached wide receivers before, and I'm telling you right now, there are 31 other wide receiver coaches that are a million times better than me. Carson Walsh ain't one of them. That guy, we need a major improvement over. Corey Underlin, Carson Walsh, Press Taylor, all three of those position coaches, in my opinion, need to go. If Ken Flajole, the linebacker coach, can mask the deficiencies that we have at linebacker with that group of guys we have, with all the injuries we've had this year, what is Underlin's excuse? Honestly, what's his excuse? Early on in the year, he had a lot of injuries. I'll give him that. Got a pretty healthy bunch back there now. Trey Ford, what's up, buddy? We need more trick plays. Sorry, guys. Let me go back up, man. This thing's scrolling on me. We need more trick plays with, example, Greg Ward Jr. With ex-quarterback Greg Ward Jr. Yes, sir. We do need a trick play. We need Doug Peterson to be the creative guy that he once was again, because we are coming in as the under-talented team. So let our guys have fun. Let's play some unique football. I agree with you there. Eagles clip. Do you think Greg Ward and Carson Wentz will do a trick play? I think so. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna invite Philly Mike in, guys. So let me go ahead and hit my invite button. All right, Philly Mike. I'm gonna go to Facebook now and send you the link, bro. So what are your guys' opinion? Do you guys think we're going to re-sign Rasul Douglas back? I heard a report that he's probably not going to come back, which to me scares me because I think Rasul Douglas is a guy that can develop, man. Rasul Douglas really, really scares me on that part. All right, Philly Mike, I just sent it to you, bro. I'll check at the bottom, see if you pop up, man. Let me know if your cell phone works, man. I'll look and see if I see you there, and I'll let you know if I see you there. All right. Trey Ford, hope so. Des 22. This offseason, we make the tough decisions that will piss a lot of people off. Des 22, I think this year and 2021 are going to be very important years for the future, construct of the roster. And yes, I think even myself is going to be pissed off with some of the moves they make, because some of the moves might be fan favorites that we really respect and we like a lot, but have to go. And I think you're onto something. I think people are going to get pissed off. Philly, let's go D. They did have a Wildcat with Ward last week. Yeah, they did, man. That was good to see. It's coming. I hope so, bro. Zoe. Sorry, Zoe. It scrolled up on me. Yo, what position do you think we draft first? We were talking about that earlier, Zoe. I think it's going to be between left guard or center, wide receiver, corner. Now, depending on where we are in the draft, I think that's going to make the biggest part of it. I do think that if I was the coach and I'm sitting there at the back end of the draft, because we're probably going to be a playoff team, and we got a stud linebacker or stud safety available, I would pull the trigger personally. I'm just concerned that knowing this Philadelphia Eagles roster the way I know it, you know what I mean? Like the coaching staff, the front organization, like I have concerns they wouldn't make the move, to be honest with you. I don't think they necessarily would. All right, guys, I'm sorry. Let me see. Sexy Vegan, I have a problem like Aguilar. I can't track a lacrosse ball because of my eye disorder. Do you think he's got an eye issue? That's kind of an interesting conversation there. Does the dude I wonder if there's something up with his vision, because that dude struggles. He's a very athletic dude. I'm not trying to take anything away from him there. That kid cannot track a football to save his life. Like his body positioning is just wrong. Like, how did he get through college and not learn it? I don't get it, man. Kevin, I think we need to use Ward like New Orleans uses Hill. I saw someone talking about that yesterday or today. My days are mixing up a little bit, guys. But I kind of agree. Like, put him everywhere. You know, look, New Orleans is hard to play with Hill in the lineup because the dude's like a tight end. He's a receiver. He's a quarterback. Like, the dude can play in the backfield. Like, he's ridiculous to try to scheme against. Ewing. Oh, so not Schwartz. Those guys you mentioned are defensive back coaches. So Corey Underlin is the defensive back coach. So we have our secondary. My bad, guys. Let me get a drink, bro. I just sound like a 13-year-old boy. Hang on. Our secondary is divided between positional coaches. So you got your safety coach, which is Tim Hawk, and then you got your corner coach, your second, your cornerback coach, which is Corey Underlin. Tim Hawk formerly was a safety of the Eagles. He played, alongside of Brian Dawkins back in I think it was the 90s. It might have been the early 2000s, but I'm pretty sure it was the 90s. And he's a good coach. In my opinion, he does pretty well. Corey Underlin, I think, is trash. I don't like him. I don't think he's developing these corners. Now, my opinion, I would consolidate this positioning under one position coach. I would just have a secondary coach, and then I would give him the power to add more assistant coaches. So that way he's got more assistants working for him to work one-on-one with these players. That's what I would do. I hope that kind of answers it, hopefully. So if you're referring to when I was talking about Ken Flajole, he's the linebacker coach. Ken Flajole is so trusted. One of the assistants for Ken Flajole is the guy who gives all the statistics to Doug Peterson and tells him whether or not a play should be red lighted or green lighted, depending upon the down and distance. Like, that's how much Ken Flajole is trusted. That one of his assistants has that kind of power. He's in the direct headset of Doug Peterson, telling him that kind of stuff. Kevin, I hope we draft a legit linebacker. That's what I'm saying. If we're in position to do it, I personally think you should make the call. You do it. You draft somebody there. I mean, me personally, I would. All right. Sorry, guys. It's jumping on me again. Aunt Rizzo, the play Ronald Darby got mossed by Michael Gallup. He still was looking in the backfield as if it was a run as Michael was running past him. He does it a lot, man. He does it a lot. It's ridiculous how often it happens. Charles Smith, I hope he does. Plus, I think he leads the team in interceptions since he has been on the team. Yeah. I hope he's back as well, but I don't know, man. I'm hearing reports. Sexy Vegan, Gary can develop into a stud. Nate Gary concerns me with his run ability to fill in the gaps. Like, he doesn't always, he's not always in the right position there. He's got a lot more to develop in terms of that. He's a very good coverage linebacker. He's a safety. I mean, he's a safety playing linebacker. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Of course he can cover. Charles Smith, Rasul. Hey, Philly Mike, I see you, bro. Hey, go ahead and talk. Check your audio.
Is it good? Is it good?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. All right, y'all. This is Philly Mike. I think most of y'all know who Philly Mike is, man. If you guys aren't subscribed to Philly Mike and you like the content I do, you guys go check him out, man. He's pretty good.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, Trey Ford. What do you think we get a star corner out of the draft? What do you think on that, Philly Mike? Star corner or draft?
It's corner, wide receiver. They're both as equal of importance. So at the end of the day, depending where we fall with this possible playoff run, we can fall a little bit farther. With that being said, you look at it like this: when we get up on the board, if there's a top corner, if there's a number one corner out there, you take him. If there's number one receiver, you take him, and vice versa. So what I'm saying is, if the top two receivers got taken off the board already, and now the top corner's still there, you do it, and vice versa. That's what we got to do at that spot for number one.
Yeah, I agree, man. To me, you got to play what's available. So
correct.
you know, I think you have to look at left guard, center, corner, wide receiver. Me personally, I'm looking at linebacker and safety. Those would be the positions that I would target. But
we definitely got a lot of targets
yeah.
to fulfill, but we're talking about if we're going to spend our first round, where would you spend in Gate City?
Oof. I think we need a wide receiver, bro. We've seen this offense. If we don't have a way of stretching the field, we're in trouble. I mean, we're asking Carson to do a lot, man. I worry that we might get too comfortable with Carson Wentz's abilities that we're like, oh, this guy can do a lot with very little. We can't do him like that, man.
And I will agree with you with this.
Yeah. Sexy Vegan thinks that he thinks that Nelson Aguilar might have bad depth perception. He might, bro. He can't track crap.
So long. Like they were saying, like a lot of networks were saying, I mean, you can franchise quarterback.
Uh-huh. All right. Niraj, Davis or Barnett will have a touchdown against the Giants. They will go deep. Really liked your Davis breakdown video. Thank you, bud. I appreciate it, man. I think Davis is a possibility. I don't know much about Burnett.
Me neither.
Just a little bit I saw.
But I seen we brought him up today, so you know.
Yeah. Are you surprised he leapfrogged the players he did to get on the roster?
I actually am. The crowd favorite Michelle Markkinen just keeps getting Markkinen gets passed over time and time again.
It does.
Wow.
Honestly, guys, you guys have surprised me, man, because I thought you guys would be all up in the comments like, yo, what happened to Mark and Mikkel? Why didn't they bring him up? I thought for sure I was going to get that today. I thought for sure I was going to get that, man, because that's the first thing went in my mind is like, really? I guess it's good. I guess they like this kid. So Philly Let's Go D says tracking a ball is you have it or you don't. Best center fielders make it look easy besides turning into a diving catch. Yeah, I agree. I'll be honest with you, Philly Let's Go D, when I played outfield in baseball, I was always a lot better, honestly, on the dry, like running, trying to make a catch, than I was on a pop-up, where I hated pop-ups, man. I felt like the damn ball was in the air for like an hour. I hated them. That's why I preferred like playing second base, bro. You get to say you're an infielder and you don't do nothing. It's the best position. All right, let's see. Eagles clip. Sorry, Eagles clip. It keeps moving up on me, bro. Do you think there is any chance of Nelson Aguilar staying? I feel bad for Nelson Aguilar and his depression. I think he will succeed somewhere else. And even though I already see your head shaking now. Eagles clip. I don't want to disrespect Nelson Aguilar because this dude is a Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagle. And he had an outstanding game in the Super Bowl. With that said, I think it's time to move on, man. I think not only for our benefit, for his benefit.
And to elaborate on that, I agree. Eagle Clips, what he said at the end of his what you read, because I can't see the comments on where I'm at right now. But he will succeed for another team. We are going to see him play for another scheme, and he's going to be a competent, good wide receiver because we've seen that out of him time to time, slight time to times. He just has to be asked to do what's in his wrist, play the slot, get you 15 to 20 yards, catch the ball little, and get yards after the catch. You cannot ask him to track a deep ball. We all know he can't do that. He will he will do better on another team. And like Gate City Sports said, he has to get out of Philly. Philly done made him quit his Instagram. He deleted his Instagram. He can't take it.
Yeah. Sexy Vegan, Nnamdi Astonwall is who you're thinking of. And that was the biggest embarrassment in free agency I've ever witnessed. So he asked me who was the great corner that played for the Raiders that we signed and sucked for us during the 2011 and 12 season.
Well, let me ask you
Nnamdi,
this, Gate City Sports. Let me ask you this, Gate City Sports. Was he just really was he good or did we ruin him? Like, where do you stand on that?
We may have ruined him, man, because he never really did anything after he left.
But what I'm saying is, like, he had a body of work in Oakland where he was a shutdown corner. When he came to us at that point in time, we were going through a lot of defensive coordinators and all different stuff like that. We played a lot of zone that year. Like, I think he still had it. I mean, you just don't shut down for 16 games to come to another team and not be able to deal with the same number one. Like, we just put him in bad schemes.
I'm shocked that Juan Castillo didn't work out, man.
Yeah, an offensive line coach.
Exactly. Yeah, bro. I think we ruined him, Sexy Vegan. We ruined him, bro. I mean, we put an offensive line coach as a defensive coordinator, and then went and signed a shutdown corner, and then never used him the way he's supposed to be used. Pretty much what happened.
Which was everybody was saying we were scared if we got Jalen Ramsey, will we let him follow? Will we let him go find the number one receiver no matter what? Switch sides on both sides? Will we do? Schwartz would have did it way more than Juan.
Yeah, I trust Schwartz a little more than Juan Castillo.
Was
Andy Reid did him dirty, bro. He should have never done that, man. That was wrong.
That was.
All right, GT Scudderary. Sorry, man. I'm trying to. It's scrolling on me, guys. So sometimes like it. GT Scudderary says, "What's up, Philly Mike?
What's up? What up? What up? What up?" Yo,
guys, he's on his phone, so he can't see the comments. So I'll let him know when you guys.
Yeah, that's why I said Gay City, yo. If you can have like a tablet or something else, and you put up the YouTube chat yourself, you see it a lot easier because
bro, I tried to go through YouTube today. I was gonna do this on YouTube, man.
Last time it'd be fluctuating.
Bro, YouTube, I tried to go through it, man, and it would not connect to my. It did the same thing it did to you. It wouldn't connect to my camera on YouTube. For real, my webcam.
It didn't let you?
No, it wouldn't connect. I would take the thumbnail picture, and then it wouldn't connect again. For real, I spent 30 minutes trying to get it to work, and I was like, "All right, I'm done, bro." Yeah. All right, Sexy Vegan. Why didn't we draft Greedy Williams? I don't know, bro. I don't work for the front office. I don't know. You want the easy answer? The guys that we had that scout the college players, our college scouting department, these guys are broken up to the geographic region. So Greedy Williams was SEC, right? I think. I could be wrong, guys. Someone check me if I'm wrong. I think he was, I want to say that he was in the SEC, Greedy Williams was. So whoever was scouting the Southeast, they either didn't recognize the talent or didn't do a good enough job selling him to the front office. So that's the easy answer. Sexy Vegan, should I look up Burnett on my highlights on my phone? Yeah, bro. I mean, if you can figure out more about him, I looked at him for 30 minutes, guys. I looked him up for about 30 minutes, saw his little story, read some stuff about him from when he was at USC. I found out he was a blue shirt, all that kind of stuff. He was originally supposed to play at Washington State, and then he ended up getting an offer to be a blue shirt at USC, and he took it. So, all right, Niraj, absolutely. Check out Burnett's highlights with Jets. Okay. Des 22, yeah, but they liked Mac Hollins too. Mark and Michelle might just be better. Bro, Mac Hollins made me look stupid too, so I can't say nothing.
Yeah, but Mac Hollins was the story. We went way too many weeks with one side of the field just not even being a factor, bro.
Yeah. Matt Collins made me look dumb, guys. I went out, look, man, I went out on the line when I was defending him, and I was like, look, Matt Collins can play special teams. He's a better physically gifted athlete than the other guys that were up for the position plays. He just got injured. Said all this crap. Then it turns out he might be better. He might be more physically gifted. Maybe he was better on special teams. But in terms of his ability to play wide receiver, he wasn't even in the conversation of some of these guys. He put Eggo on my face, bro. He put Eggo on my face, bro. I don't care nothing about Matt Collins no more, bro. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why I supported his ass. He's a UNC dude. I'm an NC State guy. That's our arch rival. I don't know, man. Charles Smith, the Patriots. Let's see. Niraj. Mac Collins was really good the Super Bowl year. He was hurt and lost his speed. Really unfortunate. He had a very similar injury to Deshaun Jackson. He had a sports hernia, I think. Guys, Hold up. Let me check my stuff, man. Because no, don't. I want this going. I know how people go. I'm not suggesting that Deshaun Jackson will have a dip in productivity the way Mike Collins did. I'm not suggesting that at all. Like, dudes heal differently.
And they both different animals.
Yeah. Philly, let's go D. Honestly, he was a strange dude, Namdi. Yeah, I heard Namdi was like a really intelligent dude. I want to say, was it Didinger? It was Ray Didinger, or maybe it was it Frank? Was it Ruben? Ruben Frank? One of them were talking, and they were talking about like how smart Namdi was, and like he was like a guy that you could have really deep conversations with. Like he was very educated, and like, you know what I mean? Like he was a really weird guy. Definitely. He was not your prototypical football dude. Like,
and we turned him back to our not a prototypical football dude after we got done with him.
Yeah. Namdi was at the end of his career. You know, Charles, it's been so long ago, man. I don't even know how old he was. I want to say, I thought he was only like 27, 28 when we signed him, though, wasn't he?
Honestly, I can't say, but the dude logged. He was the number one corner the year before.
Yeah.
Like that was the so-called dream team, and that's when what we got through the whole Dallas thing.
Yeah.
The dream team looked really good on paper. We were trash.
Yeah.
Dallas looks good on paper. They're trash. Listen, if you take away their 3-0 start, they're 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
4-8. So if you're talking about a 4-8 football team coming into Philly, but the 3-0 start, just inflated everything.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, I'll say this about the dream team, guys. I haven't given up hope yet. I'm still telling you. I think the Kansas City Chiefs should bring back Vince Young because I think Andy Reid he can still fix them. Andy Reid is the quarterback whisperer, guys. He can fix them.
That is true. Andy Reid, that dude. And I still love that dude. It's just his time was up in Philly with his whole family and all that stuff.
He was my boy, man. I loved Andy Reid to death, man. He was a good coach for us. I mean, I remember the dark ages of Eagles football prior to him getting there. We had the one really good year with Ray Rhodes, and then it was poop.
Rhodes.
It was poop, bro. It was straight poop after that. Like, Sexy Vegan, he played for LSU. So, yeah, he was in the Southeast. Yeah, so Sexy Vegan, that's, you know what I'm saying? It's the college scouting department there. Eagles clip. What do you think the score will be on this Sunday's game? Ooh. And do you think our defense will consistently show up? That's some pretty big questions there, sir. Score. I think I said this last week, so watch me be wrong again. I think you're going to need to put up more than 24 points to win this football game, personally. I'm going to say it's going to be something along the lines of like 27-18 Eagles. That's what I'm anticipating. It's going to be a game closer than it should be. But at the same time, guys, like I said, if you punch them in the mouth early in the football game and put them down early, those guys might be thinking about golf. They might be thinking about their beach vacations. You know what I'm saying? Going sledding, going skiing, whatever. Whatever they do. Like they might start packing it up early if you punch them in the mouth quick. If you let them hang around, could be a rough game. All right, GT Scudderary. This upcoming draft is supposed to be wide receiver heavy. It is. From my understanding, it is.
It is.
Do you think we use a first-round pick or wait and see what talent is left in the second or third and use the first for defense or offensive line? It depends on who's available.
Yes.
I'll tell you this. My theory is before you got your ducks in a row with your skill position players, you better have your offensive defensive line right first. With that said, boy, do we need a wide receiver.
He's like, and to elaborate on that real quick, yes, like I said, with it being wide receiver heavy, again, it really, man, we lose against the Cowboys. We're really right now talking about what wide receiver we want early in the draft. Mm-hmm. But a thing happens here, a thing happens there. We're pick 18 plus. And with that being said, you have to find what's the next available. With it being wide receiver heavy, then there's only 6 corners that are even worthwhile in NFL thing. But the top 3 are separate themselves big from the other 3. That means you might have to take a corner early, knowing you still will have wide receiver depth later. Because guess what? You got teams that have stacked wide receivers, like the Falcons. They're not taking a receiver. You know, the Chiefs, they're not taking a receiver. Now, you got teams who will just pass right by it, and we're not going to pass by it the second round.
Someone could slip. Someone could slip down.
Oh, yeah.
Teams got a tendency of doing really stupid stuff like drafting quarterbacks way too high. So, when that happens, talent starts slipping down. Charles Smith, I'm a Duke Blue Devil. Charles, you in North Carolina, bro? I'll say this, Charles. I'm not particularly fond of Duke, but I can stand Duke a little more than I can stand Carolina. Although I've thoroughly enjoyed the collapse that Carolina has done the last couple of weeks on the basketball court. Sexy Vegan, how much you want to bet people want us to draft a quarterback in the first round to replace Carson? Sexy Vegan, there's, you know what I'm saying? There are people out there, bro. I mean, they're everywhere, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're always out there. They're crazy, bro. They're nuts, man. They're nuts. Here's my thing, man. I got into it in a live stream one time with a Cowboy fan. And I'm telling you, what I had to tell him was this, man. Like, I don't argue with stupidity, bro. Like, you can't fix stupid. When people do, like, bro, you just gotta move on from them, man. Like, if someone was bringing up legitimate points and was showing you something, and like, you know what I mean? Like, then it's on you if you're the fool that doesn't listen to what they're bringing. But when they're just shouting out opinions and they got nothing to back up what they're saying, and like you watch it, you're you know, and you're like, whoa, I don't see the same thing you're seeing. Like, it's crazy, bro. I've met him here, bro. I've met him.
I just found a way to get to the live chat, and Charles Smith said he's from Baltimore. Just to let you know, off the GP.
He's from Baltimore?
Yeah.
Okay.
And another one, real quick. Aunt Rizzo said, "Do you think we should have kept Golden Tate with the way he's playing?" Go ahead, Gate City.
No. It's not because of the play. It's because Nelson had his full $9 million guaranteed.
And right now, we have enough slot receivers. We need some deep ball threats.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're not in need of a slot.
Yeah, not saying that Golden Tate in crunch time couldn't make plays and couldn't do things. Of course,
yeah.
Carson knows how to utilize people. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we have enough guys who can go across the middle.
So I'll say this about Golden Tate. I think he's 100 times better than Nelson Aguilar. But given the circumstances of the contract and like Howie Roseman backed us in the corner with the contract with Nelson. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
All right, JLU. Hey, guys, how about them Cowboys? Ugh, rough game for them, man. And I got to give props to Cowboys X Factor. He's the only one who showed up and was like, yo, you beat us. Everybody else who was talking all that crap last week in the live streams, in the comments, funny how I can't find them now.
You're right.
He's the only one who owned up and was like, number one, he didn't talk any smack.
Exactly.
And then number two, like, he's a fan, so like he's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still gonna come on and like, yo, you know, what do you think happened here? What, you know?
He commented on each of my videos saying this hurts so bad. But he's the one Cowboy fan who will say he wants his team to win, but when it comes to football talk, he only talks real. If his team is better in a situation than ours, he'll say it. If our team is better, he'll say it. Other Cowboys just say, we them boys.
Exactly. No, I actually respect him.
I do too.
Yeah. All right, Sexy Vegan. We need to sign Vince Papali. He is faster than Alshon at 70 years old. I think the injuries to Alshon had a lot to do with his explosiveness, guys. With that said, he's never been a burner. He's not beating anyone down the field with speed. But he can get up in the air when he's healthy.
On the Cowboys note, real quick, Sexy Vegan said again, you can teach a dog to sit, but you can't teach a Cowboy fan to shut up.
Pretty much. Pretty much, bro. Charles Smith, Juan Castillo was a horrible coach. So that kind of explained why the defense was bad that year. He was moved from offensive line. Yeah, exactly, bro. the defensive coordinator. Not to mention he brought the wide nine. He did, didn't they? They hired a dude from Tennessee, right, to be the defensive line coordinator that year, I think. So yeah. When he got moved to the defensive coordinator, I can't remember who the guy's name was, but they brought a dude in from Tennessee who ran that wide nine, and they brought it here to Philadelphia.
The wide nine works great when you have linebackers that know how to hit the gap all really great. But you need that.
But the whole system has to be built with it.
Correct.
The linebackers have to be able to fill the holes when you're playing the wide nine because that gap responsibility becomes very important when you're doing that.
It's the utmost important because these D tackles are trying to get upfield to get the quarterback if it's not a run play.
Yep, 100%, bro. Eagles clips. If we were 100% healthy, what do you think our record would be right now? 2 or 3 games better. 2 or 3 games better.
3.
Yeah.
11 and 5.
I mean, I guess you have to define health. You mean like everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because like we came into the season already kind of limping. So
D-Jacks. And listen, if other guys go down, you can again, if Zach Ertz goes down, you can get away with it with Dallas Goedert. If an offensive lineman goes down, you can get away with it bringing Andre Dillon in. If running back goes down, we have depth there. D-Jacks was the key of the season because you always have to prepare for him over the top. Like if an Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar is not playing, but you got D-Jacks going over the top with Goddard, Ward, and Whiteside in the middle. It's a great offense.
We might have possibly been 4 games better because I don't think we lose Atlanta. I don't think we lose Detroit. We probably win at least 1 game between Seattle and New England. And we might have been able to beat the Dolphins if D-Jacks there. We might have been able to just simply outscore them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Aunt Rizzo, do you think we should have kept Golden Tate? Okay, yeah, we got to that one. Look, man, it's a talent-wise, bro, you're all over it, Aunt Rizzo. Talent-wise, Golden Tate's a lot better. Like, you got to be like, I don't know, you got to be halfway crazy to think that Nelson Aguilar is better than Golden Tate. Like Golden Tate, just look over at his career. Like Golden Tate's been a beast for a long time, but that contract, bro, messed us up bad.
Yo, I just want to say this one because I want him to elaborate. Lone Revolver said, "Did you hear the stupid arguments against Carson Wentz on Whitlock and Wiley?" I didn't hear it, so if you didn't hear it, I would like him to, just what were the comments? Because I hate that show. First of all, just to say.
Yeah, you'd have to tell us what the comments are, man. I'm not familiar with it either. I saw Max Kellerman try to make a defense of his points, and it was ridiculous.
And, I used to like Max Kellerman, but this guy is just – I love Dan Orlowski. Dan Orlowski is a great dude. You saw the thing I put on Twitter. You saw it.
Charles Smith, if we kept Golden Tate, we never would have found about Greg Ward Jr. That's a very real possibility. Eagles clip, I respect Cowboy X Factor. He subbed me today and paid some respect. Eagles clip, I didn't know you made contact, bro. Why didn't you tell us a long time ago? I would have subbed you up, bro.
Oh, yeah, I'm on an Eagles clip.
All right, give me a minute, Eagles clip. I'm gonna pull you up, bro. Guys, if you got YouTube channels, let us know, man.
And let me just read Aunt Rizzo's real quick. Aunt Rizzo said, I would pick up Byron Jones from the Cowboys, very athletic. So I guess he is a free agent if they don't decide to sign him back. What do you feel about that, Gate City?
Say that one more time, man.
That he would take Byron Jones from the Cowboys. He's very athletic.
Byron Jones?
That's their number 1. Corner, of course.
He's talented. He's better than what we had.
He was really good the year before. This year has been but again, sometimes people regress because of situations like Nelson Aguilar. I guarantee there's teams out there seeing Nelson Aguilar's tape and saying, wow, the speed, the burst, the yards after the catch, we can turn him into something better than Philly. And so, what do you think about Byron?
He's better than what we got. He certainly qualifies for a number 1 corner, but I don't think he's a shutdown corner.
So
if the money's right,
it comes down to pay.
If the money's right, I would take him. Eagles clip, is yours just like sports, like clips of the Eagles, like highlights? Do you know Philly Mike? This is
I don't know, but see, my phone be actually showing them pretty quick, I guess too.
yeah.
Trying to figure all this out too. This is the first time it's happening.
I'll find it. It's not a big deal. All right. Da-da-da-da. Okay, yeah, Aunt Rizzo, we covered that one. JLU, all Cowboy fans are dead silent. Brunson was right. Mark Holmes is turning into a depressed punk. Sad to watch. You know, I ain't really watched Mark Holmes recently, guys, because Mark Holmes has really lost his objectivity recently. He used to be a little more objective. He's clearly crossed over to just fanboy status to me.
Yeah.
And like he's in denial. He's in denial their season. Jim Washburn, you're right, Tito. That's exactly who the defensive line coach was. Yeah. Sexy Vegan, my Cowboys fan friend said that Dak was a underdog, even though Dak played one and Wentz played D1 and Wentz played D2. Define underdog. And in what way? I don't understand how. In what respect is Dak Prescott an underdog? Not according to Vegas.
Hey,
I mean,
I want to read this one to you real quick, and I want your answer from it. Tito Rios, we don't need new cornerbacks. We need a new DB coach, maybe a safeties, but corners are good, just not using good technique. Go ahead, D. Go ahead, Gate City. Pretty much saying that he feels our corners are good. The DB coach is putting them in with bad techniques and stuff along them lines.
Sidney Jones is the most athletic guy we have. He's the most physically gifted guy. Technique is very bad. The technique is very bad in zone, I should say. His awareness playing zone is very bad. His man coverage skills look really good this year. I want to be honest with you.
Lately, he
exactly. Very limited sample size. Very limited sample size.
Every video I've been praising Sidney Jones, and I liked your video, and I liked how you explain it, and I agree 100%. Listen, again, in Washington State, go back and check his highlights out. That boy was really good. When he tore his Achilles, everything kind of changed, and I feel like he has a mindset that get to his injury, like hamstring after hamstring after hamstring. This whole early part of the season, he's been hurt and battling that. Plus, the guy in front of him, I think that was a little bit too much. But the dude got talent when it comes to man coverage.
He does. He does.
What you need that as a corner.
Yeah, I would still draft a corner.
Yes,
I would still draft a corner.
It's a passing league. You can never ever have too many DBs on your team. You can't. You should use until the very end of the DB roster you can go, because it's a passing league. You got guys throwing for 5,000.
Yep. Hey, Sexy Vegan, where are you from, bro? I just saw your comment with the Delaware Blue Hens. Where are you from, bro? Are you from Delaware? I ain't heard that reference in a while, man. I'm originally from Newcastle, so I'm up just outside of Wilmington. Well, I'm not up there now. Now I'm out in Greensboro, North Carolina, which is really far away. But Philly, let's go D. It's hard to say how much better. I always say your record is what it is. You can say we could have lost to Green Bay if Adams didn't go down. Toss up. I agree. It's a toss up there. I still think Philly, let's go D. I feel confident enough to say that we would probably be at minimum 2 games better. And that's even accounting the fact that we may have dropped the Green Bay game. Well, let's be honest. Green Bay had a very limped up Alshon Jeffrey they had to play against, and no Deshaun Jackson. And they still took an L.
I just want to address the cornerback situation one more time. Look, if anybody watched, you guys, this is Gay City Sports Channel, but look, in my early part of this season talk about the secondary, it was, look, just wait until Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills both get on the field together. Now, I never claimed that these were world world beaters. They're not going to shut corners down. But we played a winning formula. We are proving to win games with them. Some of them games we had to outscore people. Some of them we didn't. But at the end of the day, I thought it was going to be better. And Ronald Darby came from us, from the Buffalo Bills. And that boy was very talented.
Mm-hmm.
He has not been that talented since his Achilles or ACL, whatever it was. I don't even remember anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, cornerback is a position that you need to have at least one type stud. One type. Marshawn Lattimore. Look, Marshawn Lattimore came in the same draft as Sidney Jones. Sidney Jones would have been drafted around the same time as Marshawn Lattimore if he didn't get his Achilles. Marshawn Lattimore is a stud.
Yeah, he is. He is.
You get Marshawn Lattimore
when he plays every down.
Correct.
That's Lattimore's problem.
Correct. That's correct. But if you get a guy like Marshawn Lattimore on one side, then Jalen Mills or Ronald Darby being a number 2 receiver, it automatically upgrades them because there's nobody that has to be a Julio or a number 1.
Yep. So, hang on, guys. Let me read the comment again. Philly, let's go D. Washburn was the O-line coach. I thought, no, he wasn't, man. Washburn was the D-line coach. Washburn, I was wrong. I don't think he came out of Tennessee. I think he came out of Detroit, to be honest. But he was the D-line coach. I'm going to look up real quick and see who the O-line coach was. Guys, that's so long ago. It's been so long removed at this point. It's hard to remember, some of those guys, man. So, I mean, that's really hard to say.
Hey, to touch on it, I think Aunt Rizzo said what that comment was on Marcellus and Wiley. He said Marcellus said that since because Dak's numbers are better than Carson's. That's why he's a better quarterback and a leader. Well, he's leading the Dallas Cowboys to ice cream to the buffet line because they're not going to the playoffs.
See, I don't understand the comment. What is he led them? What is he leading? What exactly has he led them?
Correct, but everybody says that Dak Prescott, although he can't make every single throw, he is a born leader. Blah blah blah. Listen, Dak Prescott has had a good season, a decent season, but when you put it in context, this man had a fully loaded roster. That's paper. Again, we're going back to that paper thing.
Yep.
And he just Carson Wentz definitely is better than him.
I'll say this: if he's such a good leader with the amount of talent they have around him, why has he not even gotten to the conference championship game? That's a lot of talent not to make it that far.
That's exactly
offense and defensively. Market Spikes. What do you all think about these new practice squad wideouts we brought on the roster? So, Market Spikes. Markin McKell, very kind of similar to Greg Ward Jr., right? Shifty, kind of more of a slot guy. He's got probably a little more potential to play the outside receiver position, but similar to Greg Ward Jr. You get a guy like Green. Green is more of a speedster. He's got way more deep vertical speed. I think he's definitely a 4.3 guy.
Marcus Green?
Yeah, Marcus Green. But he's a short dude. He's like 5'9"-ish, I want to say. He's pretty short for an NFL player. The new kid they just brought up, River Cracraft. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Marcus Spikes. I didn't even heard of this dude before today. Never even heard of this dude before today. He's got 3 years' time spent on the Denver Broncos practice squad. I don't know if this kid is more of a slot, an outside receiver. I don't know. I really have no idea. But clearly the coaching staff, or not the coaching staff, clearly the scouting department had their eye on this kid for a while. They had been watching it. So, I don't know. Like I said, man, I'm not going to sit and act like I knew who River Cracraft was before today, like 4 hours ago. Never heard of the dude. To be real.
Hey, Gate City, Marcus Spites also said another comment. He said, everybody sleeps on Crevion LeBlanc. What do you think about him? I'll let you take that. Go ahead.
Midnight Green Eagle logo, 358 subs. Okay, bro, I'm going to get to it, man. I got you, Eagle Spikes, man. Or I'm sorry, Eagles clips. My bad. Sorry, that one more time. What question was it?
He asked, everybody sleeping on Crevion LeBlanc. how do you feel about Crevion LeBlanc? Do you think he could be utilized in a better situation than what he is right now? Because he's actually only coming down as our fourth cornerback. You know what I mean? We play nickel,
Yeah.
we put Maddox on the field. He only comes in if we're playing dime. A couple times he came in. I don't know if you've seen something different.
Yeah. He so far this year, from what I understand, Philly Mike is that he's been used more so as more of a run defender more than anything. He's better at playing the run than Avonte Maddox is. He's got coverage skills. I'm not trying to imply that he doesn't, but I think the coaching staff feels more secure with him when they're playing 8-man boxes, trying to play for the run than they do with Avonte. I don't know. I don't know how they feel about him, man. I really don't.
He came in against the Giants when we played a dime package, but sometimes when we try to still go to protect the run, we've been doing a lot of 3 safety dimes. You know what I'm saying? 3
Yeah.
safety dimes. But when we do the 3 a regular dime, he has only gotten in, but very little. He had that great run in the playoffs, intercepting Drew Brees, playing at the back end of the season because he was forced to because of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how. I mean, I like him. I love his swag. I love his demeanor, but I don't know exactly how he would be, on man-to-man coverage on somebody who's an outside receiver, one of the big-time NFL receivers.
Yeah. Got to give him an opportunity, I guess, and just see.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't want that opportunity to cost us the game, though.
No, yeah, you got to pick and choose them, but yeah.
This is what I'm saying, though. Early in the season is when you figure it out, not week 17. You win, you're in.
I mean, I guess the Giants. I mean, the only person that scares me in terms of is going to beat us over the top scares me, and is going to break it is Slayton. Slayton scares me,
and he proved it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that dude is how we let that one slip through our hands too. I don't know how we missed on so many of these speed guys that make perfect Z receivers, these perfect flank receivers. How we missed on all of them, I don't understand that, man. I don't get it. We knew that was what we needed, and yet we went. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy what we could have had and what we ended up with.
So you already regretting JK Whiteside?
Where we drafted him, yes. Not necessarily him being a Philadelphia Eagle. The exact position and place we drafted him.
Yeah, the spot we took him at, what was available on the board.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Let's see. D Block still alive. Still alive. Damn, laugh aloud. What's up, fellas? What's going on, D Block? How you doing, bro?
Gate City, thank you for letting me join in. The wife is starting to yell at me. I gotta go. We got a little Christmas party going. That's why I'm kind of dressed up. But I try to avoid all that early gathering, kissing, blah 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 blah. So I would love to come on here and cheer with you guys for a little bit. Gate City Sports, that's that dude right there. I'm trying to tell you guys. You already know, and if you're in this chat, just watching, not commenting, because last I seen there was 25, 30 people in the chat, and I only seen a couple people commenting. If you're not commenting, it's all cool. Just subscribe to that man, Gate City Sports. If you're not subscribed to him, do it.
Yeah. All right, Philly man, I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, and everybody in there, if you know me, if you don't know me, hey, good talking with you guys. Much love. It's a very, very big game against the Giants. We trying to look past into the playoffs, but these players cannot do that.
Yeah.
We've seen weirder things happen in the NFL. With that being said, be easy, guys. I'm out. Peace.
All right, bro. Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas to all you guys. You're right.
All right, guys. Charles, I'm going to go through some of your comments, guys. Charles Smith, our corners are better with better defensive ends. Defensive line play is the key. I agree. If our defensive line can't get pressure, our corners are going to get exposed. That's just the way Schwartz's system works. Sexy Vegan, Dak's stats are inflated. Yeah, of course they are. I think most people who know football know that his stats are very inflated. Number one, they're inflated by the competition he was able to beat up on early in the year. And number two, they're inflated because he's either trailing or they're in a position to where people are basically playing off coverage on them late in games. And he's just throwing those routes to get junk yards. I mean, everyone knows that, man. It's only a few select Cowboy fans that really don't quite grasp that yet. And it's not to take anything away from Dak Prescott. I do think he's a decent quarterback, but his stats don't indicate the actual production and like talent level that he really is. Like they make him look a lot better than what he is. Market Spikes me neither. Aunt Rizzo, how old is Markin? I think he's in his mid-20s, guys. 24 to maybe 26-ish, somewhere in that area. He's a young dude. He's young. Sexy Vegan. So Green is like Hollywood Brown. Not to that talent level, man. Like if he was anywhere near Hollywood Brown, he'd be on a roster. He's a short, shifty dude. I think he has some special teams experience. I don't know if he's fielded punts or if it was kickoff returns, but he's played some special teams, Sexy Vegan. He does struggle a little bit with route running, but he's very fast. He's an elusive guy. He could be a really good gadget player maybe down the road. So, Maniac Matt, Carson is way better than Dak. Anybody with half a brain can tell you that. Carson was clearly the best quarterback in the league in 2017, and Dak's never been close to that with a healthy team every year. Yeah, I agree, man. Like I said, people thinking that like Dak can't play. I don't think I've ever said that. I don't believe that. I think he's a good football player. I just think that there's clear difference between the talent level of Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott. Like they're not comparable. They're different animals. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get through some of these comments, guys. Ewing, guys, don't waste your time with Dak versus Wentz BS. These guys clearly don't know football. Yeah, bro, I wouldn't waste it, man. You're right. I was thinking about Howard Mudd. I believe that was his name for the O-line coach. You might be right, Philly. Let's go D. Like I said, it's been a long time, but that does sound correct to me. Eagles clip. Just subscribe. Cool, bro. Everybody, man, Eagles clips. He's got a YouTube channel, bro. You guys go check him out, man. I don't never tell anyone to just go subscribe to somebody, but go check him out, man. Like I'm gonna subscribe to him just because I like to try to pump up Philly Eagles, guys that are making content for the Eagles. I try to do my part, man. Fred Scott, Merry Christmas, Gate City. Fred, man, Merry Christmas, brother. Sexy Vegan, I'm making a cereal brand called Cravion Crunch. Creative, bro. Des22, I think they want to develop Trayvon. You talking about Trayvon Hester? He got injured, didn't he? What happened to Trayvon? Because he kind of. Wait a minute. I got to look that up, bro. I don't know what happened to Trayvon. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what happened there. Market Spikes. I think that our problem is that we get these young guys and we just keep them on the practice squad, just like Ward. I don't understand it. It's conservative decision making when it comes to the part of the front office and the coaching staff. I think it's really hard to justify why we have players like Greg Ward Jr. and then we have players like Boston Scott who are clearly better than the guys in front of them on the practice squad. It's conservative judgment stuff there. Like you ask Doug Peterson, he's going to say, well, football is multiple aspects to the game. These guys might be incredibly talented. They might be good receiving backs, good runners out of the backfield. But, you got to be, we got to be able to trust you in pass blocking. We got to be able to trust you on special teams. And that's going to be the excuse they give you. But let's be real. Like there's a certain level where the talent level disparity is so great that it doesn't make sense, man. Look, I was guilty of it too, man. I thought Matt Collins should have been on the roster over Greg Ward Jr., and I was an idiot looking at it now because the talent disparity between Greg Ward Jr. and Matt Collins was much greater than we thought. Like, Matt Collins might be a good special teams player, and he might make sense as a fifth receiver. But when you got a guy like, Greg Ward Jr., who's as talented as he is, I think we can coach him up to play special teams. Just saying. Market Spikes. Sorry, guys, I'm catching up. Market Spikes, I watch both of you. Happy holidays. Happy holidays, Market Spikes. Defense is playing smart football. Fred Scott, they looked a lot better last week, man. Let's hope they can continue, bro. Nothing like a Christmas talking Eagles news. Yeah, bro, it's pretty much, man. Pretty much what I'm doing, man. Des22, we missed on these wide receivers because Doug want big possession wide receivers for this West Coast scheme that doesn't fit our quarterback. Wentz is a vertical type of quarterback. Hopefully he learned his lesson this year, Des. Hopefully he learned his lesson because can't go out there without having these vertical threats, man. It hurts, bro. It hurts our offense. Sexy Vegan, not talent-wise, but build and speed, they are similar. Yeah, of course. Of course, yeah, there's some similarity there. Market Spikes, he's hurt. Okay. Sexy Vegan, I think he got cut. What if Dak and Wentz traded schemes, not coaches? Laugh aloud, just schemes. Give us players too, bro. Hey, Gallup. I know they're down on Gallup. I'll take Gallup from them. He's a good vertical threat. Look, some of this stuff, look, don't get me wrong. I got no trust in Carson Welch to get any receiver right. But there's a marketable difference between the Dallas Cowboys receiving skilled play, the talent level of the receivers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, come on, it's obvious. Sexy Vegan, the only thing you can hear after Eagles loss is Doug licking his lips. Yeah, bro, that's so crazy in the press conferences. He has this weird tick to him when he gets nervous. He licks his lips. And it's really distracting when you're like trying to pay attention to what he's saying. It's awkward. It's just really awkward, man. Like I don't know, bro. I mean, everyone has nervous like kind of glitches, but that's a really weird one to have. GT Scuderi, Carson is the only quarterback in NFL history to have 95 plus touchdowns and 35 or fewer interceptions through the first 54 games. Carson Wentz is a stud, man. He's a stud. Charles Smith, Braxton Miller played special teams and he was better than Matt Collins. Fair point, sir. GT Scuderi, I was reading something that said Wentz in his last 37 games had 56 touchdowns and 1 INT. Only other players with numbers like that are Breeze, Wilson, and Brady. I don't know about his last 37 games because he's thrown more than one pick this season. But his touchdown to interception ratio is pretty good. He makes sound decisions with the football. In the red zone, I meant to say, oh, okay. I got you, GT Scuderi. My bad. I got you. I should have read the next comment, man. My bad. That might be right, man. I don't know. I'd have to. That's an advanced analytics thing. I'd have to look at the advanced analytics on that to see. All right, guys. I'm gonna get ready to jump off here because it's 10 o'clock Eastern time for me, guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in, man. If you guys have any last minute, comments, I'll hang on for a few more minutes for you. But look, guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to y'all. I just wanted to come on and just kind of talk a little bit. I saw the news breaking, so I wanted to talk about it, man, because I knew that a lot of people are probably going to be taking off today because of the holidays, going into parties. I'm not really like, I love my family, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like a party guy, man. I don't like going to that kind of stuff, guys. Today we ended up having some stuff pop up. I was supposed to go to a family function as well. I didn't go just because of some stuff that popped up. So figured I'd come on here and, make a video. You know what I mean? Do a little live. Sexy Vegan, Nelson Aguilar should retire and become, my bad, bro, a receiver coach for us. Oh my God, bro. No more Greg Lewis's, bro. No more Greg Lewis's. LL Doug J. Yeah, exactly. You remember that back in like the late 80s, early 90s? Philly, let's go D. Happy holidays, all. Eagles clips. Okay, I'm back. I think Doug Peterson and Mike Groh are starting to learn Carson Wentz is not Nick Foles. He's a whole different kind of beast. It's taken them a while, man. I agree, but yeah, bro, they're getting there. GT Scuderi, having Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone. All right, y'all. I'll give it like one more minute, man, but I'm gonna sign off here, guys, because I gotta kind of, do the family phone calls thing and all that stuff, get some stuff ready. You know how it is, man. It's around that time frame, guys. Sexy Vegan, the Cowboys are like the Disney Star Wars trilogy. So much hype, but they suck. Yeah, bro, a lot of hype. Not a lot of action, right? Charles Smith, Merry Christmas. Hope you do a live stream Saturday night. Yeah, guys, I'll be there. I'm not going to disappear on y'all. I'm going to be making live streams. I'll be making videos. I'm not going anywhere, man. I live and breathe this stuff, guys. Fred Scott, Doug Peterson needs to coach his best game to get in. Yeah, bro. He's going to need to put a hell of an effort out there. He's going to have to be at his best. Eagles clips. I'm signing out. Merry Christmas, Eagle clips. All right, guys, for real, I'm going this time, man. Merry Christmas to all you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in, man. You know what time it is. I'm going to end this by doing what I do in my videos. You all know what time it is. Y'all ready for this? E-A-T-L-E-S. Eagles. All right, y'all. Let's go, guys. Sexy Vegan, I got you, bro. I have to get my mom to wrap her Christmas presents because I'm too lazy. I just suck at wrapping, bro. I'm not good at wrapping presents, man. My wife does all that because we be in newspapers and duct tape if I got to wrap it, bro. All right, y'all. Peace, man. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Oh yeah, I gotta hit the end broadcast. My bad, guys.